Well, especially at Newbury. Hennessy Cognac Gold Cup day, and the big race is due off at 2 o'clock, the 38th running of the Hennessy. Black Humour confirmed as a non-runner earlier today. And our three-race Newbury coverage starts with the 12.55. A small but competitive field for the bonus sprint Jerry Field and Hurdle. Runners and riders, Peter O'Sullivan.
Number 1, running for the first time this season, Glenstall Flagship, ridden by Mark Dwyer, who incidentally has lost his ride in the big race, the Hennessy Cognac Gold Cup, to Graham Bradley, who now rides Commercial Artist. Mark Dwyer generously gave up the ride because Brad, who lost his ride when Black Humour was withdrawn, rode the horse last time and has also been schooling him. 2 is Jazila, ridden by Graham McCourt. 3 is Large Action, 3 times winner at Newbury and ridden by Jamie Osborne. And 4, running for the first time this year, is Collier Bay, ridden by Tom Grantham. And here's how they bet.
And the champion hurdle third is a firm odds-on favourite, now 9-4 on, having opened 2-1 on. Then it's 3-1 Jazila from 5-2, 11-1 easy to back Glenstall Flagship from John Joe O'Neill stable, and even easier to back 20-1 the outsider of 4, Collier Bay.
There, just in the distance, in the blue colours, is Jamie Osborne on last year's champion hurdle third, Large Action. Horse by the Parson, had an excellent season last season, winning 4 races, and perhaps his best run of all was when he was third in the Tote Gold Trophy round here. He's had 1 run this season when, first of all, we were told he was dead heated at Kempton with Absalom's Lady, and then later in the afternoon we were told that the judge had got it wrong and he hadn't dead heated and Absalom's Lady had beaten him. But nevertheless, around Kempton on fast ground, that was a very, very good run. And I think this horse would make up to be a champion hurdle horse, although there is a question whether if he gets beaten today or in the Beulah hurdle, maybe he will go and jump fences. But what a lovely horse to have in your yard, and Oliver Sherwood's horse is really firing at the moment, and he's got a string of great horses, and this is probably the top of the list.
And with his back to us is Jazila, horse that set up a sequence last year. He started off winning at this time of year in November at Leicester in a novice hurdle, and then went on to win in December at Windsor, and then came out in February at Kempton Park. Well, we also saw him win at Aintree, where the ground was soft. He likes to get his toe in, although he has won on good ground. He's a decent horse, this, and he wasn't so far behind Large Action, you know, at Kempton Park. That was a very good run. He finished 4th there, and he was barely 2 lengths behind Large Action there. So he's a very serious contender here, and he's hardening. He's 11-4 now from 3-1. Graham McCourt, who's riding in great style. He's been at the top of the tree for a good while now and is maintaining his dash. He's increased the string that his mother Mary is training at Wantage. He's quite involved in it there, but nevertheless is still riding at the top of his form. This one was best turned out from Reg Akerst Yard, and Tom Ashley gets £100 for his troubles. It's the well-known colours, this one, of Stuart Aitken, who's landed some massive gambles on the level this summer.
There is Mark Dwyer, who Peter told us that has lost his ride on Commercial Artist in the Hennessy. He's riding John Joe O'Neill's Flagship, and it's great to see Viking Flagship, Glenstall Flagship, sorry. I'm getting mixed up with his half-brother Viking Flagship, who won the 2-mile champion chase. And John Joe having a great season, 16 winners this season so far, and we're really looking forward to seeing this horse and see if this makes up to be a champion hurdle horse.
The only other one is in the checks there of Wally Sturt, Collier Bay. He wants to get his toe in. He's won both his hurdle races on heavy ground. He was a stayer on the flat. And Jim Old yet to strike form, although his horses have been knocking on the door. Let's hope he can do so today, but the betting doesn't indicate it. All getting very impatient, and I'm sure ready to do the job is Peter O'Sullivan.
Yeah, just Large Action jogging back to join the others. To face the tape and away. And Collier Bay shows from Large Action on the far side, Jazila, and Glenstall Flagship jumped the first of the 8 flights. Large action on the far side, Collier Bay on the near side, Jazila tucked in just behind him, and then Glenstall Flagship as they race towards the winning post on this first circuit. Another 7 flights to jump in this bonus sprint, Jerry Fielden hurdle, and Collier Bay the leader from Large Action and Jazila and Glenstall Flagship. Collier Bay running for the first time this season, winner of 2 of his 3 hurdle races, this young horse, 4-year-old, by Tom Grantham. With Large Action, winner of the Tote Gold Trophy here, and 3rd in the Champion Hurdle, just in behind him, Jamie Osborne, and then 3rd, Jazila. Winner of 4 of his 6 races, they all jumped that well, and Glenstall Flagship, winner of the Murphy's Irish Star Champion 4-year-old hurdle. So Collier Bay, Large Action, Jazila and Glenstall Flagship as they race towards the 3rd, right over the far side here at Newbury. Very large crowd to see them too for this Hennessy Gold Cup. Always one of the most popular races of the season, and it'll be the richest chase of the season so far. 42,574 to the winner. Meanwhile, 10,460 to the winner here. Over the 5th and Large Action, a beautiful jump, 4th rather, a beautiful jump on the inside of Collier Bay. Towards the left, Jazila, close, and then Glenstall Flagship. But Collier Bay back with the advantage. Large Action, Jazila, and Glenstall Flagship. So they race towards the cross flight. Number 5, Collier Bay lands in the lead from Large Action on the inside, Jazila close on the outer, Glenstall Flagship tucked just in behind him, and 3 flights left to jump now. In the bonus sprint, Jerry Fielden hurdle. Collier Bay, the leader from Large Action, Jazila close, and then Glenstall Flagship as they race towards the 3rd last flight. Right over on the far side with the breast girth, Large Action. The check colours of Collier Bay on the near side, Jazila over the 3rd last, little between those 3. Not a brilliant jump by Large Action though. Coming down towards the 2nd last, but Large Action well collected now by Jamie Osborne on the far side. Glenstall Flagship coming there towards the left. Jazila still well in contention. Collier Bay beginning to drop out of it at the 2nd last, and Large Action landed in the lead from Jazila and Glenstall Flagship, and a slight mistake there by Collier Bay. So they race down towards the final flight now. Large Action over on the far side, Jazila on the near side, Glenstall Bay close in 3rd as they come to the flight now, 20 yards off it. Large Action on the far side, Jazila on the near side. Large Action lands in the lead by a length and a half from Jazila, who is now under pressure, and then Glenstall Flagship racing inside, well inside the final furlong, and Large Action going away from Jazila as they race up towards the line. Large Action on the far side, Jazila on the near side, and Large Action's going to hold the renewed challenge of Jazila, and at the line Large Action is the winner, and Jazila is 2nd, and Glenstall Flagship is 3rd, and 4th was Collier Bay. And so the result of the opener on Hennessy Gold Cup Day. First, number 3, Large Action, owned by Mr. B.T. Stewart Brown, trained by Oliver Sherwood and ridden by Jamie Osborne, 5-2 on favourite. And 2nd was number 2, Jazila, owned by Mr. S. Aitken, trained by Reg Akehurst and ridden by Graham McCourt. And 3rd was number 1, Glenstall Flagship, owned by Red Nab Racing Limited, trained by John Joe O'Neill and ridden by Mark Dwyer. 4th, of course, was Collier Bay, and the winner getting an immediate 10-1 quote for the Champion Hurdle from Ladbrokes.
Well, Large Action was always cruising on the inside, made a mistake at the 3rd last, but was always in a happy position.
Yes, I think it was a very good piece of riding by Jamie. We keep saying how well he's riding, but you see he's always glued to the inside, and he gradually comes across to the rail, or moving across to the outside. A beautiful piece of riding to ride, the correct way to ride Newbury.
Yes, he absolutely loves this, but you'd expect an odds-on favourite to win like that, but Jazila stuck to it well. Glenstall, Flagship, just coming with a bit of a squeak there, but always not going to get to them, and his action shows that he wants much softer ground, Glenstall. He was sort of paddling up and down.
Yes, it's funny, they've dropped the Glenstall Flagship in. The other horse, Viking Flagship, is ridden right up with the pace, so maybe he'd be suited with a more forceful ride. And you can see Jamie Osborne there, you know, just shaking the horse up, not doing too much with him. He seems to be quite idle, this horse, Large Action, and I think that's why he's made the mistake turning into the straight.
Yes, and for a minute it looks as if Jazila might come back at him, but really it's only on sufferance. They've run pretty much to their recent outing at Kempton Park, where there was 2 lengths between them, and crossing the line, it's pretty much the same story again.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's the change of track. This is more of a staying track here at Newbury than it is at Kempton, and this horse, I think, again, will be suited when it goes to the even stiffer track of Cheltenham, and I think he's got a great chance in the Champion Hurdle.
Yes, just the back end of him there, you can see that he's a fine big horse. He carries a fair bit of condition, this horse. He is a great big chasing stamp of a horse, but also does carry condition. There's Oliver Sherwood just joining in and very happily talking to his jockey there, and it will be a big dilemma. What do they do? Do they stick over hurdles or do they go fencing?
Yes, as you say, it is difficult, because if you can keep a horse over hurdles too long, and they start making excuses.
Yes, well, as they come in, we can see just through the punters there that Jamie Osborne is delighted with that. Let's hope you're delighted with the price, but it won't be generous.
No, it certainly was not. First was number 3, Large Action, 5-2 on favourite. Second, number 2, Jazila, 3-1. And third, number 1, Glenstall Flagship, 11-1. 4 ran.
And on this Hennessy Cognac Gold Cup day, we'll be back at Newbury for the next race there, the 125. Here at Cardiff, it's Wales against South Africa, and after the news, Eddie Butler will give his views on what he regards as the strength of this South African side. And the Springboks, I know, regarding this match today against the Five Nations champions, is perhaps the highlight of their very successful tour. Very big television audience will be watching back in South Africa, many of them perhaps not fully realising the importance and the significance of playing Wales in the Cardiff Arms Park. They'll find out. We'll be back in a few minutes.
They speak a little bit different to South Africa.
Maybe Norwegian.
At over 2 miles. So as I said, I just thought that he was a little bit better than that Cumbrian Challenge, but as I said, he looked well going down to post. Let's see if there's any money for him in the betting.
And co-favourites of 3 still, Ben Sable, Daring Past and Zajira, all at 9-2. Cumbrian Challenge 6-1. A little support for Notable Exception in, half a point from 7s to 13-2. Then it's 9-1 Dual Image, at 12s the Irish horse Pebble Lane, at 14-1 Space Captain, and the outsider is Little Bromley at 16-1.
Well, a horse who's been running very well this season has been Notable Exception, Mary Reevely's 5-year-old. 3 wins under his belt so far. Won over 2 miles 5 furlong at Sedgefield, but does have quite a bit of weight today. He's got 11 stone and has gone up for those wins, so have to see how he fares. See how they go soon with GG.
It's over an extended 2 miles, and you'd expect Little Bromley to make the running. Has front run in the past and normally takes quite a keen hold. So despite being out of the handicap, a prominent run from that one in the hoop jacket. Lining up on the inside under Richard Hales. Jerry Scott is the starter here. He's on his rostrum, and Cumbrian Challenge facing the wrong way. 8 flights of hurdles they have to jump. They've got a very long run to the first, and they race away, and it is indeed Little Bromley that goes on. From in second place, Space Captain, with Daring Past holding third early doors, and then length out behind these out wide, Notable Exception, followed through by Pebble Lane in the red and yellow colours. Dual Image is the back marker, and they come on this very long run down to the first. It's Little Bromley and Richard Hale clear by about 10 lengths, and they've taken the first safely. Zajira is the back marker. They race up past the enclosures, and it's Little Bromley clear by 10 to in second place Space Captain, just a length in front of Daring Pass racing third. Pebble Lane is in the fourth spot, and behind Pebble Lane we have Notable Exception, followed through by Ben Sable, then Cumbrian Challenge, and Dual Image and Jazeera is the back marker. But this Little Bromley is certainly skipping out in good style, clear by about 10 to 12, if not more now, as they make the left-handed turn. And we had a horse in the first race, all but got away, 25 clear now. And this horse has ability, Ben Sable, Little Bromley, clear by a long way, 15-20 lengths, and they race away from the stands and down the hill. Second horse is Space Captain, showing third the inside, Daring Past. Just with that one is Pebble Lane. Wide is Notable Exception, and a Little Bromley for Arthur Eubank and Richard Hale, clear by 25 lengths still as they come down towards the third. Main group headed by Space Captain, and then Daring Past the inside. Notable Exception is on the outer, and it's Little Bromley clear by 25 lengths. The pack jump the third. There goes Little Bromley. Here come the chasing pack. Green sleeves, Notable Exception. White and red is Space Captain. On the inside is Ben Sable tracking Daring Past. Out wide is Cumbrian Challenge, as Jazeera behind these, and Dual Image, and the leader is in the back straight now, and there he is going towards flight number 4 in a race of his own for this Ladbroke Handicap hurdle. It's Little Bromley comes to it. He's popped over it safely, clear by this enormous margin to the main group, who come to take the third, and then they come down towards the middle flight on the far side. Oh, he made a mistake there, Little Bromley, but he's still clear by 22. In second place, Pebble Lane, and then behind these comes Jazeera pulling hard on the outside, and we've all but lost Space Captain, whose rider is in a most uncompromising hold there, going to be pulled up. Ben Sable 9-2, Daring Past 9-2, Jazeera 9-2. And they continue to race away down past the far stage, and it's Little Bromley clear by a long way, and she's keeping up the gallop. They're well past the halfway stage. Daring Past has been pulled up, but the chasing group in pursuit. They've got just under a mile to go, and it's Little Bromley clear by about 15 lengths now, starting to come back to the pack as they continue the progress up the turn into the home straight. Just 2 more flights of hurdles to jump, only clear by 8 now. Cumbrian Challenge on the outside is getting closer. Pebble Lane, then Ben Sable in the maroon jacket, Jazeera on the outside, and then behind these comes Dual Image. They start the rush for home. Cumbrian Challenge with a white sleeve jacket and with the white cap. That's Ben Sable as they take the second last, and the mares come back to the field. Little Bromley only by a length now to Cumbrian Challenge. Ben Sable coming with a run. Notable Exceptions, Jazeera on the extreme left of the picture. That's a bit of the ground that's normally favoured in testing conditions, but they've got a quarter of a mile to go. This Little Bromley pressed by Cumbrian Challenge. Here comes Dual Image in the yellow. Come down towards the final flight, and it's Cumbrian Challenge in the lead from Dual Image, and Little Bromley the far side keeping up for each way support. They're 5 clear of Ben Sable and Notable Exception, but the top weight Cumbrian Challenge goes on by a couple of lengths. Dual Image is placed again with Little Bromley in third as they race up towards the line. Cumbrian Challenge under Lorcan Wire is going to take it, and at the post, Cumbrian Challenge it is. Cumbrian Challenge a photo for second place. A very close call between Dual Image and Little Bromley, and they're well clear of Notable Exception, Ben Sable, Jazeera, and the only other horse to finish was Pebble Lane. A little bit of a disappointing run by the Irish one, and so the outcome of this, the Ladbroke Handicap hurdle, it's a win for the top weight Cumbrian Challenge. In the colours of Cumbrian Industrials Limited, the 11-2 chance, well ridden by Lorcan Wire. I must say, at the end of the first mile, I thought they could have given the long-time leader Little Bromley too much rope, but that was not the case. Let's say a very close call for second place between number 8 Dual Image under Derek Byrne and the long-time leader Little Bromley, ridden by Richard Hale. The yellow colours, Dual Image probably just nosing out Little Bromley, but she's certainly justified a big each-way gamble on the right of the picture there. But those who are regular attenders at Newcastle know that the jockeys elect invariably to come down the stands rails. That's the route that Cumbrian Challenge took, and he's certainly scooted home. Only his third win, but a bit of a pointer for Morcelli later on in the afternoon, who beat him comprehensively in the Ekbalka.
Come back to form with a bang, Cumbrian Challenge, and as Graham said, particularly well ridden by Lorcan Wire. It's never an easy task when you've got a horse that's fancied, gone off and gone some 20 lengths clear, Little Bromley, and she's really stuck to her task well. Look how she's sticking her head out trying. Meanwhile, between these two, Not helped by a sloppy jump at the last. That's Dual Image. I think he's just a little bit on the soft side. Maybe wants a pair of blinkers, maybe just wants some fences, but they're never ever going to get to Cumbrian Challenge. Once Lorcan pressed the go button, just pushing this horse out, hands and heels, got the best of the ground up this side. And the battle for second place, probably a little bit more interesting. Well, as the filly on the far side just regained second place. I don't know, judge for yourself. Maybe Dual Image has just held on. Well, results from elsewhere, and Royal has got the news.
Yes, I have, John, starting with the latest result. That's Warwick at Newbury, the 255. First, number 3, Large Action. Large Action, the hot favourite. He survived a mistake at the third last to win cosily in the end. Large Action, 5-2 on favourite. Second, number 2, Jazila at 3-1. And third, number 1, Glenstall Flagship at 11-1. 4 ran. The first of the 8 races at Lingfield Park, the 1150. Ken Higson's Rocky Waters defies top weight under Brian Rouse. First, number 1, Rocky Waters, 5-1. Second, number 5, Spender, the 100-30 favourite. And third, number 9, Newington Butts, 8-1. 10 ran. Lingfield 1220. Starfighter, the one with the most experience, opens her account. First, number 5, Starfighter, 6-1. Second, number 8, Saturn Lady, 13-8 favourite. And third, number 7, Penthouse Baby at 8-1. 8 ran. And the 1250 at Lingfield. Ray Cochrane scores on the first of his 6 book rides. Charbonneau's justifying 6-4 favouritism. That's number 4. Second, number 9, Captain Marmalade, 14-1. And third, number 1, Echo de France, 15-2. 14 ran. And the 105 at Warwick went to Robin Dickens' runner, ridden by Brendan Powell, Catastrophe, number 1, the 2-1 joint favourite. Second, number 4, the other 2-1 joint favourite, Moorish. And third, number 3, Olympian, 10-1. 13 ran.
Well, Cumbrian Challenge victory, quite a boost to the chances of Morselli and the fighting 5th later this afternoon. Cumbrian Challenge 3rd, beaten 22 lengths behind Morselli last time. Morselli was giving it £4. Cumbrian Challenge to 5 top weight in good style here. Opened 5s, drifted to 6s, and there was a little late clever money at the death, brought it back to 11-2. Dual Image was rock solid at 10s, and Little Bromley kept those each-way thieves happy, the people who took the 33s and the 20s in the offices this morning, by sticking on gamely to third at 16-1. The Cumbrian Challenge, a boost for Morselli.
Yeah, Gold Cup day, and the race that precedes it is this one, the 125, the Axo Nobel long distance hurdle. Peter O'Sullivan takes us through the field.
Number 1 is Avro Anson, ridden by Mark Dwyer. 2, Hal Copus, Richard Dunwoody, rides Lord Relic in the big race. 3 is Hebridean, Adrian Maguire, who rides a Dubacilla in the big one. 4, Simpson, ridden by Tom Grantham. 5, Meditator, Sean Curran. And 6, Spring Marathon, ridden by Paul Holly, who rides Give Us a Buck in the big one. Here's how they bet.
Hal Copus was backed at 11-10 this morning. There was a little even money on the course, but now, having touched 5-4 on, he's receded to 11-10 on, but he's a firm favourite. 4-1 Avro Anson from 7-2. 4-1 also Hebridean, who would like it softer. 10-1 Simpson from 8. 25 Meditator. 33 the outsider, Spring Marathon.
Just the front of your picture there is Hull Copus, ridden by Richard Dunwoody. Richard in good form, riding a double at Bangor yesterday. This horse with the sheepskin noseman just cantering away there really seems to have found his niche in life now. He's been turned to 3-mile hurdles. He was touted as a champion hurdle prospect for a couple of years, but last year he was fitted with blinkers in the champion hurdle, and it's strange, isn't it, Richard, that people try and put blinkers on horses to make them go faster, obviously, but sometimes it's just a different distance they want. And I rode this horse first time over hurdles, the first twice he ever won at Wolverhampton and Windsor, and I've never ridden a horse that's jumped better and gone easier throughout the race, having his first 2 runs. And then when we stepped him up at class at Cheltenham and Aintree, they were going that little bit quicker and he couldn't jump as well. And now he's back to 3 mile, he's happy again and jumping superbly, and I think he will be for a long time one of the best 3-milers in England.
I hope you gave your fees away to the Injured Jockeys Fund when you had such easy wins in those early small races, Skew. Yes, he's a nice horse. There are others in with a chance. And here's Avro Anson, who would prefer it better. It is officially good to soft, but he is a good horse. Even though he was beaten a long way by Halcopus last time, they're going to ride him more differently today, and they're going to hold him up. They tried to force it a bit last time, but he is a good horse, as he showed us when he actually threw away victory in the bonus print Stayers Hurdle at Cheltenham last March. Here he is now. You'll see he doesn't end up in this position at all where he is at the moment. The other one with him, there's Balasani coming late. There's Minella Ladd from Ireland. Balasani's back in third place, but just watch now. He's left with nowhere to go because that tape ends, and he runs around, comes across the other way, and then actually interferes a bit with Balasani, who flies at the death, and just, you can see it's nip and tuck all the way. That was good form, though. If it were fast ground here today, I would really fancy Avro Anson. But they, as I told you, they're going to ride him differently, and they expect to reduce the deficit with Halcopus.
There in the yellow cross belts with Adrian Maguire just altering his leathers. He's got it right now. It's a funny feeling. Different horses, your leathers often feel differently. When I was a jockey, I was always altering my leathers to, you just try and make yourself feel level. But back to the horse now, Hebridean, who just had the one run last season and then reappeared at Chepstow on television. We saw him when he was second to Her Honour in the Tote Silver Trophy. And he ran a very, very good race that day. I thought, under Warren Marston that day, I thought he looked like he was going to win 2 out. And then Her Honour was just outspeeded him, and he was just probably benefit from the run, and it'll be interesting now to see if he can upgrade from handicaps into condition races.
Yes, he's running in the colours of Peter Deal, but he is owned by a partnership. John Dale from Swindon, and also Mike Dealey, a well-established owner of David Nicholson's, are in this one. So 2 with similar colours. This is one of them, Simpson and Meditator, although this one's got a yellow cap. Now, Simpson has actually beaten Avro Anson, and that was in January of this year at Haydock Park, but the ground was soft on that occasion. It's good to soft today, so don't rule Simpson out totally. He's not had a run this season, and as we said earlier, Jim Old has yet to strike, but this is a decent horse. He's no mug at all, and he finished 4th in that race that we just showed you of Avro Anson, the bonus print at Cheltenham. He's no mug, and he looks well.
There is Sean Curran on number 5, Meditator, who had some useful form last season. He won at Newton Abbot, Chepstow, Cheltenham, Kempton and Aintree. I thought the day he won at Aintree, they all went off very, very quick. Sean Curran rode a lovely race in the heavy ground, and he came through and beat Linkside by 10 lengths. He stays 3 mile, he likes the mud. Perhaps it won't be quite soft enough for him today. He opened at 25 to 1, and his latest betting is that he's 16 to 1.
Yes, they've landed it before. The only one we haven't seen is Spring Marathon. Well, he sprung a surprise by beating Arctic Kinsman here last time, but he is a good horse and terribly well bred, especially on the dam side. He may be the outsider, but he won't be out with the washing.
Nobody very anxious to make it, going a very steady early pace. Spring Marathon, Meditator and Simpson, the leading trio at the first of the 13 flights, which they all jumped successfully. Spring Marathon nearest to us, Simpson over on the far side, between horses Meditator. As they come to the next, the second. Spring Marathon, Meditator and Simpson. Little gap then to Avro Anson, Halcopus, and finally Hebridean. A long run now to the next flight. It's the cross flight. And Spring Marathon nearest to us, Simpson on the far side, and then Meditator, and they're followed by Avro Anson, Halcopus, and Hebridean. So they come down to the third flight. Spring Marathon from Simpson and Meditator. Avro Anson, Halcopus and Hebridean. Racing towards what will be the home turn next time, the turn into the straight, in which there are 3 flights before they come up to the winning post and complete another full circuit. Spring Marathon nearest to us, over on the far side, Simpson, then Meditator. Over the 4th, Abravanson, Halcopus, Hebridean. As they come down to number 5, Simpson and Spring Marathon together from Meditator. Halcopus moving up to join Abravanson, and then Hebridean. Coming down to the flight, little bit of last after another full circuit. Number 6 this time of the 13, Spring Marathon nearest to us, Simpson on the far side, Meditator, Abravanson, Halcopus and Hebridean. So coming up towards the winning post now with a complete circuit in the Axo Nobel long distance hurdle, and disputing the lead still, Spring Marathon and Simpson from Meditator, Abravanson, Halcopus and Hebridean. There's been very little change throughout so far. They go over the far side. Here at Newbury, where our next race, of course, is the 38th running of the Hennessy Cognac Gold Cup, featuring the biggest field since 1976, 18 years, despite the absence of Black Humor. The 7th now. Spring Marathon from Simpson. Oh, Spring Marathon, a mistake there, but he got away with it all right. Little gap then to Meditator and Abravanson and Halcopus and Hebridean. Spring Marathon going on again, fractionally from Simpson, as they race to the next. Number 8, Spring Marathon from Simpson. They've opened up quite a gap over Meditator, Abravanson, Halcopus and Hebridean. Spring Marathon clear, jumped that well enough. Spring Marathon from Simpson, and the others bunching in behind them as they come to the final flight right over on the far side. Number 9 of the 13, Spring Marathon, lands in the lead from Simpson, then Meditator and Abravanson, Halcopus and Hebridean. Swinging left-handed now towards the cross flight, which is 4 from home, and Spring Marathon under Paul Holly with about a 6-length advantage over Simpson, then Halcopus, Hebridean, Abravanson, and Meditator drops back to last as they come to this 4th from home. Spring Marathon, who's really gone for home, jumped that very well. He's got a good 8-length advantage over Simpson and Hebridean. Abravanson just in behind them, with Halcopus very much in contention towards the outside, but it's Spring Marathon as they turn into the home straight. From Simpson, Halcopus travelling sweetly, then Hebridean just in behind him, Abravanson right over on the far side, Meditator the back marker, Spring Marathon there the leader from Hebridean.
In particular is Strong Deal, who fell the run before last. He was going really well, he hardly put a foot wrong and then tipped up, and he learned from that mistake because, well, he gave a real demonstration in chasing the last time he ran out a really decent winner, and that was up at air. And Jock's Bird, who finished a long way behind him, went and won earlier on in the week, franked the form. He certainly looks as though he's got a really good future ahead of him in the chasing game. Trained by George Reed, ridden by son Tim, came up through the amateur ranks. Really lovely horse this. Quite a fair track, Newcastle. Fence is well made, nicely spaced out. They used to have one particularly, one fence that was quite trappy just round the corner, which has been done away with. But this horse, I'll just I hope I'm not putting a jinx on him, but he'll be one to keep an eye on. Really does know how to use himself.
Well, one that's not got quite so much experience in the field is horse number 5, Mickey Hammond's runner, Reluctant Suitor. Only had the one run over fences, but that was very promising. That was a second to night wind in a 2-mile novice chase at Wetherby. So there's certainly scope for improvement, but as John said, the fences can be a bit tricky around here. Just have to hope they don't find him out on only his second outing. He won over 2.5 miles over hurdles last year, so he certainly shouldn't have any trouble getting the trip today. Certainly looks very well there, very, very well turned out, and a credit to his lad and trainer.
He's a horse who improved throughout last year, Reluctant Suitor. Ran a smashing race at Cheltenham behind Arctic Kinsman. That was probably his best run of the year, although he'd won 2 or 3 races. And put in a promising performance for his time up this year. As you can say, well, you can see for yourself, looked exceptionally well.
Also got the advantage of getting £9 from Spanish Fair and Strong Deal, both of whom have won races, so that's quite a nice amount of weight to have in hand. Spanish Fair, there in the yellow and blue colours, Sue Bramall's runner. He said carrying 11 stone 13 for having won his 2 starts to date, so he certainly hasn't had any problems taking to fences. Last time out at Kelso, he was giving £19 to Fruman, and he managed to hold on by 3/4 of the length. He made all the running that day, but that was over 2 miles. Whether they'll try and hold him up today because of the weight and to get the extra half mile, this is his 2.5 mile trip, we'll have to see. He certainly looks on his toes there. He wouldn't be, he doesn't look an easy ride, John.
No, I'm not sure what he's like once he gets out on the course. I think he'll be happier, and to be honest, I don't know the horse's behaviour at all. Maybe he's always like this, but certainly he's had a couple of runs. If he just walked in here and hadn't ever seen him before, you'd say, well, maybe he was just beginning to think about what he's up to. Anyway, that was Spanish Fair. Let's have a look now at Strong Deal. We've already spoken about him before. He's a horse who impresses walking around the paddock and then looks even better when the jockey's on his back, seems to grow in some way.
Lovely walk to him, hasn't he? So a lot of scope.
He's a lovely horse, and as I said, there's 2 or 3 others that we haven't seen yet that could be spring surprises. Let's have some news from Alistair.
Well, it's Mickey Hammond's Reluctant Suitor that's top of the market. 11 to 8 and fairly solid. Strong Deal 6 to 4 still generally, but they're calling 7 to 4 on the rails and after it. Spanish Fair on the drift from 7 to 2 out to 4 to 1. They're bits and pieces. Granny's Farthings for Headley Mill at 25s and 20s, and it's 33 the rag. But fairly solid. Reluctant Suitor 11 to 8. Strong Deal easy at the moment.
Here's Mickey Hammond, Reluctant Suitor's trainer, and as a jockey yourself, getting a novice through. He's had just the 1 runner. How organised is his jumping?
Well, we've schooled him obviously a fair few times at home, and he's had the 1 run at Wetherby. He jumped exceptionally well at Wetherby, but he did get close to the first in the straight, which is the open ditch. And novice chasers, really, it's just a case of getting them confident in actually doing the job properly.
And since the Wetherby run, will you pop him again, or are you a person who leaves him alone?
Yes, he's had 2 schools since Wetherby. He's actually schooled on Thursday and jumped really well. We were pleased with him.
And do you have an open ditch there he goes over to?
Yes, we school him over plain fences and open ditches, but most people would tell you that they don't have water jumps at home.
And what about here today? Again, he's only had the 1 run in public. What will the orders be? How will you hope he's going to be ridden?
Well, basically, when I have Niver riding for me, I don't give him any orders.
Yeah.
He's a top-flight jockey. I just let him ride his own race. But the main thing really is to get round. If you don't get round, you don't win anything.
And do you feel you have to not be nervous? Do you feel nervous for your horses in novice chases?
I'm nervous for my horses, whether they're in novice chases or novice hurdles.
And is he going to win?
Hopefully. I think if he jumps round safely and soundly, I'd be a little bit disappointed if he didn't win.
Fingers crossed, Mickey. Thank you.
Thank you.
And the betting on the race, heading the market at 11 to 8, Reluctant Suitor. And then it's 13 to 8 now from 6 to 4, Strong Deal. Back to 7 to 2, the opening price from 4 to 1, Spanish Fair. Then it's 20s Headley Mill, 33 to 1, Cool Weather. And Golden Fiddle, also opened at 33 to 1, has drifted out to 50 to 1.
Headley Mill ran a smashing race the back end of last year, be 3rd to Gleamot. That was good form. Had a couple of runs so far this season, and on the last occasion was not beaten all that far up at Kelso. That was behind trying to think what it was now.
It's behind Bay Rouge and Beecham Grace, but that was actually 2 miles 1.5 furlongs, and of course it's a bit further today, and he was weakening that day, so we'll just have to see how he's ridden today as to whether he gets home.
Yeah, she's normally held up Headley Mill, quite a decent sized filly. She's the mount of Alan Parker, Andrew Parker. And just turning away there was Cool Weather. Now this horse has only run once and pulled up, and wouldn't look to be much to be talking about, but the mount of Neil Doughty, Cool Weather, really impressed walking around the paddock. He's a horse with plenty of size, certainly one to keep an eye on.
Yes, there's one other in the race, Golden Fiddle, who's also had one run and pulled up, so there'll be 2 of them to watch going around here today. They were the 2 furthest out in the betting. Again, they'll be hoping to actually complete the course today to improve their statistics. And there is Golden Fiddle, Ken Oliver's runner. By Strong Gale, very, very good jumping sire, and looks every inch a chaser there. It's a little powerhouse. But when he ran at Ayr over 3 miles in a race won by Jigginstown, he did actually pull up 4 out, so we won't really know whether he's going to get home today or not.
Yeah, disappointing really, because he had actually won a point-to-point and been second in a point-to-point at the back end of last season, and maybe something was just slightly amiss with him.
He certainly does look the part, doesn't he? He's a big, strong.
Yeah, he looks as though he's capable of running well, certainly for a fair part of this race. But there's 2 or 3, as I said, with proven form, 2 or 3 trying to prove that they're going to have form or get some form. Let's have a last look at the betting with Rawley Gilbert.
Thanks, John, and it's as follows. Reluctant Suitor, 6-4 now, 13-8 Strong Deal, very, very close to favouritism. But Spanish Fair in now from 7-2 to 3-1. Firm at 20s, Headley Mill, and at 33s, Cool Weather, and still the outsider at 50-1, Golden Fiddle.
Triangular shaped track in Newcastle. This is starting 2/3 of the way down the back stretch. They have 2 fences to jump on this stretch of the track, then into the home run, where they take an open ditch and 2 plain ones, then the water in front of the stands, always an impressive sight, left-handed away and downhill, where they take 2, then they run into the back straight again, where they're lining up now, and they take 5 second time round, and then 3 in the home straight. And that's the course then, over 2.5 miles. And expect Spanish Fair to make the running. He's made the running in the past in the Antonin Hoops of Sue Bramall, John Bird rides. Problem about this horse is jogging around the paddock, he just gets a little bit hot, and 1 or 2 doubts about his stamina. He tried 2.5 miles last year, albeit heavy ground. He didn't get home. Let's see if he gets home today. That's it. They're under orders and they race away down to the first. And indeed, Spanish Fair through on the inside of Reluctant Suitor are the 2 who leads. Always very daunting fences, I think, in Newcastle, but the leader gave it plenty of air, and so did the others. And it's so. Spanish Fair leading from Reluctant Suitor, the outside of Golden Fiddle, and then Strong Deal. And they head away towards fence number 2, with Spanish Fair leading, comes to it, and they all took it safely. And left-handed turn uphill to the home straight, where they face their first severe test, and that's the first of the open ditches they have to jump. Don't want to be tempting fate, but those of you with a good memory will recall that a couple of years ago everything fell in this race, and there was a great deal of searching and running around trying to find loose horses. But Spanish Fair comes to the ditch, measures it well, jumps it safely, and a little bit slow there, Cool Weather. Come down towards the second one in the home run. This is the 4th, and coming to it, it's Spanish Fair on the inside. Just takes a look at it, and at the rear of the field, it was Cool Weather who was a little bit slow at it. But the pace is steady, and it's Spanish Fair leading as they come up towards fence number 5. Come to the 5th, and it's Spanish Fair who comes to it and takes it well, and no change in the order. Spanish Fair by a couple of lengths to Reluctant Suitor in 2nd, and then Strong Deal in 3rd. And these are followed by Golden Fiddle and Headley Mill. And the back marker is Cool Weather. Very steady pace then as they head towards fence number 6 in this, the Steel Blade and Sections Young Chasers qualifier. This is the water jump they're coming to, and as they take it, It's Spanish Fair, a little bit out to his right, and a little bit awkward at the rear of the field was Cool Weather, a 6-year-old. Spanish Fair leading there. Reluctant Suitor, the 6-4 favourite. Strong Deal at 13-8. Spanish Fair at 7-2. Very difficult to see anything bar the front three taking a hand in the finish on public form at least. But they race down the hill and come towards fence number 7. And it's Spanish Fair leading with Strong Deal on the outside and Reluctant Suitor, the black and white colours, tracking the leaders. And then the 3 outsiders behind them come towards the 7th. And John Frankham's Spanish Fair jumping a little bit out to his right, but certainly safe enough.
Graham, there's hardly one put a foot wrong so far. They've got a good, even gallop, and I don't suppose you'll see anything making too much of a mistake until they start actually putting on a little bit more pace. Having said that, that was Golden Fiddle just made a real novice-y mistake, paid the penalty.
Headley Mill's the one that's come sweeping through on the outside. Headley Mill and Spanish Fair from Strong Deal and Reluctant Suitor. Horse and Jockey seem to be okay. Cool Weather a long way in arrears. They've got just over a mile and a quarter to go as they start the turn down the back run. They face 5 fences here, 8 more left to be jumped. And oops-a-daisy, Headley Mill a little bit novice-y there. Strong Deal's travelling powerfully on the left, but equally well Spanish Fair the right. This is the ditch they're coming to now. And Spanish Fair on the inside. Oh dear, I'm afraid Headley Mill and Andrew Parker have parting company. Well, that's a dramatic shot there. Spanish Fair on the inside. Oh, jumped in boldly from Strong Deal in second. At the back of the pack, Cool Weather is just hunting round. There will be money for finishing fourth, £240. Certainly pays the diesel, Neil. They come down towards the middle fence on the far side. This is the 11th, and coming to it, it's Spanish Fair who comes to take it. Spanish Fair it is, comes to it, pops over it in the lead. Reluctant Suitor, the black and white colours, just being chased along by Peter Niven to get competitive. Strong Deal is going well, but Spanish Fair still has the edge. Continuing their run down the backstretch, and it's Spanish Fair coming to the last on the far side by a length, a Strong Deal. Reluctant Suitor has finishing pace, this horse that wins at Edinburgh over hurdles, and he's certainly getting significantly closer now as they start the turn in. It's Spanish Fair leading then as they start the turn into the home run. 3 to jump. The first one they come to is the most severe test. It is an open ditch, 3 out. Spanish Fair on the front end still just has the edge. Now those pundits who had stammered doubts about Spanish Fair are thinking, well, Strong Deal, he's a 3-mile winner, and he's coming up to take it off the lead, take the lead now from Spanish Fair. So it's Spanish Fair on the inside, Strong Deal the outer. This is the second last, and Strong Deal and Spanish Fair stride for stride. Reluctant Suitor is being left behind in the rush to the line, and Strong Deal opening up now. 1 more fence to jump, 1 more fence between him and his 4th win, but it's Strong Deal who's really gathering pace. Reluctant Suitor is through to second. They're at the last now. Got a big leap, Dixon Reed on Strong Deal. Cleared by 5. Reluctant Suitor. Spanish Fair back in third, plugging on. Back over 2 miles, follow him, but not at this stamina test, 2.5 miles. That's going to suit Strong Deal, who comes home to take it. And at the post, Strong Deal is the winner. Strong Deal takes it. Reluctant Suitor is second, with Spanish Fair in third, and completing in 4th of the 4 is Cool Weather. The result then of this, the steel plate, the sections Young Chasers qualifier, our winner, number 2, Strong Deal, has won 3 races this season and returned at 13 to 8. Second horse home was number 5, Reluctant Suitor, still a little bit novice for me, Peter Niven's man. And the third horse home was number 1, Spanish Fair, for whom this last half mile, this very stiff Newcastle track, proved just too much.
Well, Strong Deal fairly steady, 13 to 8 return, just second best. Reluctant Suitor the second, 6 to 4, and Spanish Fair the third, 7 to 2. Ladbrokes were backing Reluctant Suitor, trying to get it off at less than 6 to 4, but the big hitters like Matt Bett stood up against them, and 6 to 4 is the return price on the favourite. But the winner, Strong Deal, 13 to 8, steady in the market, but a quiet market nonetheless.
Well, coming into the last, they'd already seen off Spanish Fair. Was it the weight or was it the trip? Did front run, but then didn't find much towards the end. And Strong Deal certainly gets every yard of this and had jumped very well round. Was probably the least novice-y of these novices, and it showed towards the end. Reluctant Suitor staying on well. I'm sure he will be winning before too long. He's got 2 seconds to his credit now, but Strong Deal just keeps going from strength to strength. Third win, managed to concede £9 to Reluctant Suitor, and ran out a very worthy winner there.
Well, we can have a look at Headley Mill falling, and gave Andrew Parker no chance of staying on board. Just have a look at this. It's actually lucky not to get hung up, and also lucky didn't interfere more with Strong Deal. Just goes right through the top, takes off much too far away. There you see him just hitting the back of Strong Deal, just knocks his back end round, and you see just gives him a clip on the back of the head as he goes down. And Andrew Parker happily, none the worse for that fall. It's extraordinary how you can get up and walk away from something that looks a really nasty fall, and comes back in totally unscathed. Just explaining there what's happened, but for those of you at the sharp end of the race who backed the winner or had a each way bet, here's the SP.
Yes, it was the second favourite, of course. Success for Strong Deal, obliging for George Reed and Tim Reed. First number 2, Strong Deal, 13-8. Second number 5, Reluctant Suitor, 5-1. 6-4 favourite, I beg your pardon. And third number 1, Spanish Fair, 7-2. The tote returns, win number 2, £2.60. Places number 2, £1.40. Number 5, £1.50. And the dual forecast, £2 exactly. The CSF, £4.18, 6 rand. And at Newbury, the 125, David Nicholson and Adrian Maguire take the curtain raiser to the Hennessy, which they'll be hoping to win with Dubasilla. First number 3, Hebridean, 7-2. Second number 6, Spring Marathon, 33-1. And third number 5, Meditator, 20-1. Halkapus was the 11-10 on favourite, 6 rand. Lingfield, the 120. And the longest race on the Equitrack today goes to Reg Akehurst and Richard Quinn. First number 7, Elaman Hauer, 7-1. Second number 2, Miroswaki, 10-1. And third number 9, Dancing Diamond, 14-1. The unplaced favourite, number 10, Red Dancer at 11-4, 15 rand.
Strong Deal, a popular winner. You can hear cheers going out. George Reed, who trains him near Hexham, and certainly done really well with this horse. He's really taken to chasing. Really taken to it. And news now from Warwick.
And at Warwick, the 135, trainer Robin Dickin completes an 11-1 double, having sent out Catastrophe to take the opener. First number 4, Dr. Rocket, 3-1. Second number 5, Shrewd John, the 2-1 favourite. And third number 2, Young Pokey, 15-2. And the tote returns, win number 4, £3. Places number 4, £1.80. Number 5, £1.70. The dual forecast, £2.30. And the computer straight forecast, £8.41. 5 rand.
It was a relief, wasn't it, to see Andrew Parker get up after being hung up there, and it just shows how dangerous this game can be. Indeed, we talk an awful lot about horses' fitness, but have we thought enough about how jockeys' condition, stay in condition through what has now become a 12-month season? Jockey Chief Medical Officer Michael Turner, he doesn't think so.
When you look at racing, of course, the athlete is considered to be equivalent to the horse. The horse is the one item that has a trainer, and that it is monitored, has blood tests done on a regular basis, somebody worries when it's off its food, its program is carefully designed to fit in with a peaking at a particular, be it Aintree, be it Epsom. The jockey is, to my mind, seems to be an incidental, that you just choose the one that you think is most appropriate or is the stable jockey, and as such the jockey is not in the equation on an equal basis. And that's something that I'm quite keen to try and change in racing, is that jockeys should be perceived to be as important as the horses themselves. When we're looking at advances in safety equipment, obviously riders wear helmets and body protectors, and a new helmet is just on the market now, which we've developed in conjunction with Champion, that will probably increase the safety factor by about threefold.
Well, the original skull caps were just basically a hard outer shell with a piece of cork for protection inside. This one was formerly worn by Stan Miller, and as you can see, the protection offered is very small indeed. Just a basic strap to keep it on the chin. Not a lot of protection at all. On this one, we actually developed our own helmet, which is the one that was actually worn by Declan Murphy. And on this one, we've got a very hard outer shell, and inside is a polystyrene liner. And we've now gone on a further stage at the request of the Jockey Club by actually going and bringing polystyrene all the way to the bottom edge of the shell. This can be seen more clearly by actually examining both of the polystyrene liners. That's the one in the original one that Declan was wearing. This is the new one that we've developed for the Jockey Club. The Jockey Club sit on the committee of the British Standards Institute that actually sets the standards. So they really have a very hands-on approach towards setting the standard, because it's their experiences with the jockeys and the accidents that they have that helps to develop the standards for tomorrow.
Physiotherapy is obviously it is most useful when you treat athletes as soon as they're injured. When a jockey has a lifestyle that means getting up very early in the morning, riding out, travelling long distances to race, and then getting home very late at night, there is no mechanism for him to have physiotherapy under the normal circumstances unless he takes a day or two out of racing, which they're very reluctant to do on purely fiscal grounds. So the logical way was to bring the physios to the racecourses, and so we started last year, as you know, for the first time, flying physios. We've augmented that. This time we've had 100 race days that have been covered by physiotherapy, and next year we will have even more. Yes, I think that in the past there have been undoubtedly abuses by jockeys of their system to try and get themselves down to an appropriate weight, and whether that's laxatives or diuretics or combination of the two with saunas, I think that those days have by and large gone. I think that we're in a situation now where the vast majority of jockeys are very sensible about the weight that they're trying to achieve, and they understand if you reduce your weight by 3 or 4% by dehydration, you will lose up to 25 to 30% of your strength. And jockeys are well aware of this, in the fact that they've actually had to starve dramatically in sauna. They feel as weak as a puppy, and quite often they fall off as a result of that. The newest aspect of the package this year that we're offering is a nutritional hotline, which will be available to fully licensed professional jockeys very shortly. This enables them to phone our specialist in Newmarket, who will analyse their diet and give them appropriate advice individually as to how they can stabilise their weight. The provision of paramedics on racecourses is something that's been under review for a while. We've implemented it for the first time on point-to-point races, and it's been very successful.
The purpose of providing a paramedic on each course is really to give an improvement in quality care. Having gone through the paramedic training, you've actually gone through extensive training within the hospital and with consultants, and you've actually passed exams. I think it's very important for such as the jockeys that they feel much better that when they see the ambulance and knowing that the paramedic is on the course, that such is there any eventuality that we are there if needed, and that they do get good care, good treatment.
Well, in my opinion, I think that paramedics are a very important part of the team. Over the years, you know, we've built a good understanding, and this came to fruition when we had to deal with the incident involving Declan Murphy, where we worked very well, and we were very pleased with the outcome. And I think that was mainly due to the teamwork we've seen ourselves as doctors here and the paramedics.
In addition to educating the jockeys, I think that there's a role for me to educate the rest of racing infrastructure, be it owners, trainers, jockey club officials, to understand that demands of a 12-month season, which is what we're talking about on the flat now, are quite different to anything that any other sport has. There is no way that you would expect an Olympic athlete in any other sport to compete 5 or 6 days a week over 12 months without having natural rest breaks. We should be looking at them as long-term assets, and we should be treating them as Olympic athletes.
And the most recent indication of the speed of paramedic help was when Dean McEwen had a horrible-looking fall at Lingfield a week ago. He's cut up by a jockey inside him.
Jump a little bit better than he did at Wetherby. And there, number 14 is Lord Relic. Now, this horse does have a lot of class, and just knuckled over on landing at Astor coming up the hill. I thought he had every chance at the time. Of course, a horse that you know well, Skip. Yes, and incidentally, Richard Richard Dunwoody said he was mystified by the poor running of Hulk Opus in the last race, and the stewards are looking into that running. They look as if they're just beginning to try and make a line there. Be interesting to see who does go on.
A terrific betting race this. Dubicilla rock solid at 3-1. One man is short of support on the course, but Martimic, the other mare in the race, as well as Dubicilla, is not. Sustained support for her down to 6-1. 8-1 Captain Dibble now becomes the Twiston Davis number 1. 9-1 Country Member. 10-1 Lord Relic from 12. And 12-1 sustained support for Josh Gifford's runner. He's in terrific form, Fighting Words. 14-1 the Irish Challenger Commercial Artist. 16 bar. We join Peter O'Sullivan.
Don't get on the gate, jockeys, please.
And they're being called in, told not to get on the gate.
Get on the gate. Inside here, boys.
Several of them very close to the tape.
Why don't we all take a turn? All take a turn if you want to. Get further over. Anyone who wants to get further over.
You hear the starter
Inviting
anybody who wants to get further over they can.
Take them all back if you want to
They're
get
told
further
to
over.
turn and come back. They're too near the tape. These 16 runners who are about to compete in the richest chase of the season so far and the 38th running of the Hennessy Gold Cup, and they're walking in. Is he going to let them go this time?
Now don't get over the tape. Don't get over the tape.
He's not happy with it.
One horse has got the tape in his mouth. Pull him off the tape. Jamie, you're over the tape. Come on!
And that's it, they're away. And Captain Dibble the first to show as they come to the first of the 21 fences. Sipton Abbey going up to join him. Tipping Tim on the inside, then Country Member and Deep Bramble. And over the first. And Captain Dibble landed in the lead, and they're all safely over the first and making their way to the first of the ditches now. Captain Dibble the leader from Country Member and Sipton Abbey, and on the inside is Tipping Tim, then Cogent on the outer, and then comes the grey One Man. Behind One Man is Deep Bramble, King's Cured, and behind King's Cured is Commercial Artist with Lord Relic. Coming to the third, Capability Brown is the back marker at the moment with Dubicilla another back marker, and Captain Dibble landed over there with Country Member who put in a terrific leap on his outside, or the near side to us that is, but still Captain Dibble the leader from Country Member, Cogent nearest to us, and then comes Sipton Abbey as they jump the fourth. Tipping Tim came next. Capability Brown jumped at 16th, and 15th was Dubicilla, and 14th was Martimic. Captain Dibble at the fifth. Lands in the lead. Cogent has made good ground just in behind the lead. But it's Captain Dibble on the right as we see them now. Cogent on the left. Between horses is Sipton Abbey. Over on the far left, the Irish Challenger Commercial Artist. The grey One Man not far behind him. And then on the inside is Country Member. But Captain Dibble and Cogent the 93 winner, disputing it at the moment. From Commercial Artist in third under Graham Bradley. And then comes for Sipton Abbey. Then the grey One Man as they race towards the cross fence now for the first time. This will be number 6 of the 21 fences, and Cogent landed over that in the lead. Cogent the leader from Captain Dibble and Commercial Artist, then Sipton Abbey on the inside of One Man. Deep Bramble comes next, and just in behind them Country Member and Give Us a Buck. Another plain fence now before the first open ditch, which is number 8, and as they come to it, Captain Dibble over on the far side, Cogent towards the left or near side to us as we see them. Cogent landed in the lead from Captain Dibble and Commercial Artist. Just in behind Commercial Artist, Country Member and Sipton Abbey and Deep Bramble, and behind them One Man. An open ditch now. Cogent landed in the lead, and they're all safely over that ditch. And coming down to the next, number 9, and Cogent still the leader from Commercial Artist and Captain Dibble over the 9th, and then One Man and Deep Bramble, Sipton Abbey. Behind them, Fighting Words. Capability Brown is still just about the back marker. As they come to the fence, it'll be the last next time round, and Cogent, the leader, by 2 from Commercial Artist, Captain Dibble and Sipton Abbey. Then comes Lord Relic, and on the near side, Deep Bramble, Give Us a Buck and One Man, and Fighting Words, and on the far side, Tipping Tim with Chatham, and just behind them, Dubacilla making a little bit of ground, and then Martimick over the water, and Cogent is the leader by 2 from Commercial Artist. One man moves up into 3rd place with Sipton Abbey on his inside, and then Fighting Words, then Captain Dibble and Deep Bramble, and behind them Country Member, and then Lord Relic, and on the outside Give Us a Buck, and King's Curate has dropped back to last. They go out into the country now, and Cogent, the 1993 winner, is still leading the field from Commercial Artist for Ireland, then another previous winner, Sipton Abbey, then Fighting Words on the outside of One Man, and then Deep Bramble, and behind them Captain Dibble, and making ground on the outside is Dubacilla, and over that one still Cogent. A mistake by Dubacilla, who lost about 4 or 5 places at that one. 3rd of the ditches now, Cogent from Commercial Artist, then One Man who goes into 3rd, then Sipton Abbey, Fighting Words on the outside, then Country Member, Give Us a Buck, and then Deep Bramble, then Dubacilla getting closer once again, being tracked by Martimick over the 14th, and Cogent once again the leader. Cogent the leader from Sipton Abbey and Commercial Artist. Brad going the shortest way on the inside on Commercial Artist, going up to dispute the lead, in fact, now as they come to this 1-7 out. Cogent from Commercial Artist. One Man the Grey just in behind the lead, then Fighting Words on the near side. Lord Relic is very well in contention. Cogent and Commercial Artist, 6 out now. Cogent lands in the lead once again from Commercial Artist. Then comes One Man with Tony Dobbin, hasn't moved a muscle on him yet. Then comes Sipton Abbey behind them, Lord Relic going well, then Country Member over on the far side, Chatham a previous winner next, then comes Fighting Words, but still Cogent the leader. Cogent under Mr. Chris Bonner, 21-year-old amateur Chris Bonner, by about 2 from Commercial Artist. Lord Relic and Richard Dunwoody moving closer, and One Man still very close in contention, and Tony Dobbin hasn't moved on him yet. They come to the cross fence, 5 out. Cogent landed in the lead there from One Man who moved into 2nd, Commercial Artist 3rd. They're racing now towards the home turn with 4 fences left to jump in the Hennessy, and it's Cogent the leader. From One Man the Grey still going well. Lord Relic coming there on the outside. Commercial Artist moves into 2nd over on the far side. Just in behind them come Tipping Tim, and then Lord Relic. Dubacilla's making ground in behind the lead. But as they come down now towards the 4th last, it's Cogent and One Man who land together in unison with Commercial Artist close over on the far side. Lord Relic travelling smoothly in 4th. They're coming down to the final ditch now in the 94 Hennessy, and Cogent lands in the lead from One Man and Cogent together there. There's very little between them. It's One Man on the near side, Cogent on the far side, Commercial Artist just in behind them, Lord Relic, and One Man landed in the lead there for the North for Gordon Richards. It's One Man the leader from Lord Relic in 2nd, then Cogent and Commercial Artist. One fence between One Man and victory. Hasn't been asked a question yet. One Man jumps it clear of Lord Relic in 2nd, and Commercial Artist 3rd, and Cogent 4. They're racing into the closing stages, and it's One Man being chased all the time by Lord Relic. But it's One Man who's going to hold him and win it. One Man wins the 1994 Hennessy Cognac Gold Cup, and he wins it in a canter with his ears pricked, and Lord Relic is 2nd and 3rd, Commercial Artist. 4 came Cogent, and 5 Chatham, and 6 Country Member, 7 Dubacilla. 8 behind them was Deep Bramble. Behind Deep Bramble was Sipton Abbey, and then came Tipping Tim, and then Martimick, and those are the only finishers. The faller, incidentally, which I didn't have time to tell you 3 out, was Capability Brown. But One Man the winner, number 16 at 4-1, and the full official result of the 1994 Hennessy Cognac Gold Cup. First, number 16, One Man, owned by Mr. J. Hales, trained by Gordon Richards, and ridden by Tony Dobbin on his first ride here at Newbury. Second was number 14, Lord Relic, owned by Mrs. H.J. Clark, trained by Martin Pipe and ridden by Richard Dunwoody. Third was number 10, Commercial Artist, owned by Mr. Michael J. O'Neill, trained by Victor Bowens in Ireland and ridden by Graham Bradley. And fourth was last year's winner, number 2, Cogent, owned by Pell Mell Partners, Jim Chromiak and Richard Gilder, trained by Jeremy Glover and ridden by Mr. Chris Bonner. And the hero of the 1994 Hennessy Cognac Gold Cup gets an immediate 14-to-1 quote from Corals for the Gold Cup, 12-to-1 from Ladbrokes.
And here they are down the back, and just in the middle of your picture there, you can see with the white breast girth, that's Jubicilla, just going to the fence, just picking up too early and landing in the fence. I suppose pace does that. They're beginning to race down that back, and Adrian Maguire and the filly did very, very well to recover from that, but their chance had gone. Now they're turning into the straight, and the whole host of horses with a chance. And there's the big grey horse cantering under Tony Dobbin. Lord Relic under Richard Dunwoody going very well. In the front there is Cogent and Mr. Chris Bonner. What a tremendous ride he's having. Brad slapping Commercial Artist down the shoulder, getting the best out of him. But it's all to play for here, Richard.
Yes, indeed. But at this stage, Tony Dobbin on this horse that's only got 10 stone, you must remember that. They've always thought of him as a potential Gold Cup horse. Well, super at the ditch. And so Lord Relic back in 4th place. Here, Capability Brown actually gets rid of his rider, Mick Fitzgerald, but he hit it pretty hard. But at this stage, look at Tony Dobbin. Admittedly, the horse has no weight here, but he's won it in the manner of a good horse. In behind him there, Cogent, getting a terrific ride from Chris Bonner, and he has cut out the running until this stage. There was no way that he was ever going to come back here. Chatham just made a bit of a mistake there. He's back in 5th. Dubicilla's plugging on.
And it's still Morcelli leading, but only by a couple of lengths to Royal Derby, and then the Reevely runners 3rd and 4th, Batamanu and Surrey Dancer. Come down towards flight number 4, and at it, it's Morcelli in the lead. Let's check the odds of reward. Batamanu, the 6-to-4 favourite, blue sleeve jacket. Morcelli, the grey out in front. Surrey Dancer, 5-to-1. And 11-to-2, Royal Derby is close up in 2nd place, having jumped flight 5. Morcelli still leading from Royal Derby in 2nd, and Batamanu and Surrey Dancer. And it's Richard Guest on Morcelli. Hasn't really set this horse alight as Norman Williamson did last time by a couple of lengths, but mark you, a stiffer test. Royal Derby's in 2nd. Batamanu, the little chestnut, travelling well. And Surrey Dancer, his stable companion, certainly there as they head down towards flight number 6. This Morcelli comes to it, but he didn't jump it as quickly and as fluently and as efficiently as Batamanu and Royal Derby. These two power horses coming to take him on as they start the climb out of the back straight. They've got just over half a mile to go. Morcelli the inside of Batamanu, and then Royal Derby and Surrey Dancer on the back end. They're starting to turn in, and Royal Derby's going well now. Royal Derby certainly going better than he did at Leicester last time. Morcelli the inside, just having to go to work, and Batamanu now is travelling powerfully. Down the straight they come, and Batamanu and Peter Newman have got the advantage by 3 parts of the length, and he's striding away from Royal Derby and Morcelli and Surrey Dancer, and Peter's coming down the favourite stand side. Richard Guest, who isn't a regular, is on the inside. That's the right of the picture, but it's all to play for as they come down towards the final flight. Surrey Dancer with a 1/4 mile to go in the yellow and black gets reminders, but it's Batamanu by a length and a half to Morcelli. Come down towards the final flight, and Batamanu comes to it. Oh, he flattens it, but he gets away with it by 3 lengths to Morcelli, and then comes Surrey Dancer and a force of old Royal Derby on this evidence. It's Batamanu striding well clear. 8th winner over hurdles inside for Batamanu, and Surrey Dancer's coming through to take Morcelli and make it a 1-2 for Mary Reevely, but up towards the line. In this, the Bellway Homes fighting 5th. Batamanu the winner, Surrey Dancer is 2nd, Morcelli is 3rd, and the remote 4th and 4 is Royal Derby, who doesn't win many races these days. But the result then of this is the Bellway Homes fighting 5th hurdle, and this is Batamanu winning his 4th race over the course and distance. Peter Niven, his 39th winner of the season. The run of Mary Reevely continues in fine fettle, and he's a good horse. It's Batamanu, a 5-year-old in the colours of Mr. Peter Saville. 2nd horse home is the other Mary Reevely runner, Surrey Dancer, and what a cracking race he has run for all the connections of Laurel Leisure, ridden by Graham Lee. There they are, the Reevely runners congratulating each other. Back in 3rd was Morcelli, who never really dominated. They wouldn't let him get away, and he wasn't good enough. 4th of the 4 was Royal Derby, who was a spent force a long way from home. But coming down towards the final flight, Peter Niven, who rides the track regularly and well, comes to it, but goodness gracious me, he certainly flattens the final flight, as too at the rear did Royal Derby, but it's Batabanu who quickens up and he goes on. This ground, the good ground here this afternoon at Newcastle, certainly helped him. In the end, he's run away from the rail, and Peter Niven keeps up the work on his 39th winner of the season, Batabanu's 8th win over hurdles.
And he never settled particularly well early on, Batabanu. They went a decent enough gallop, but they were always queuing up to come and take it off of Morcelli. And just look at him, he's a real little character, Batabanu. He certainly makes Peter Niven work for his money. I think he's won a lot easier than you'd have thought from just watching him. You just watch him pricking his ears now. Peter hit the front, I should think, much sooner than he would have liked, but had no choice really. He was going much too easily. And now at this stage, you can, or Peter can probably sense his horse just beginning to say, hang on, I've been in front for plenty long enough now. His ears go back just slightly, comes to the last with the rail to run against. Just have a look at him there. Just one ear cocked, just having a look to see what's going on. He's got his mind on everything but that last hurdle. Don't suppose for a moment he was even looking. Never looked like falling. I think this horse will find the leg, doesn't matter what happens to him. And from there on, Peter's really had to push him out. There's plenty of petrol left in the tank, I'd say, but he's just had to keep stoking him along, trying to coax him and persuade him. And he's had 4 or 5 lengths to spare at the death. But he's been in front for an awful long way up this straight, and in the end, Surrey Dancer, his stable companion, who just caught a little bit flat-footed as they turned for home, runs on to deny Morcelli of second spot. But a good win from Batabanu.
There he is in the very now well-known colours of Peter Saville, of course carried by Celtic Swing, and going to be carried by Celtic Swing in time for next year's Classics, they hope. But there he is, well done to Peter and to Mary Reevely. A 1-2 for her. And, he did it well. He's got a tremendous turn of foot, this horse, John. It was off quite a decent pace, but when he kicked, as you said, Peter hit the front probably a bit sooner than he wanted to, but when he asked the horse, he really did quicken.
Yeah, he's strengthened up a lot, this horse, in the last couple of years. I always thought he was always going to be a decent horse, but as we said, probably just keeps a little bit up his sleeve. Bit of a monkey, wants a bit of riding, and Peter Niven did that to perfection.
Well, Batabanu, a popular result down here in the ring. Punters battled and chose between him and Morcelli and finally made him favourite at 6-4. The second Reevely tool, Surrey Dancer, came back at 5-1 and Morcelli 13-8. The news from Newbury is after one man with absolutely dotted up in the Hennessy, tremendous performance, never looked like he was going to be beaten from 4 out. He's moved significantly in the Gold Cup market. Hills are top with 16-1, one man for the Gold Cup to land it for the North, and Ladbrokes, more impressed still, go 12-1, and Ladbrokes were the firm who had doubts about one man winning the Hennessy, but they've no doubts now that he's a serious Gold Cup contender and will be trying to emulate Bregon, who won the Hennessy off 10 stone and went on that same season to land the Gold Cup. 16-1's the best offer with Hills.
So at long last, Cumbria trainer Gordon Richards lands his first Hennessy Gold Cup and with the youngest horse in the field. First, number 16, one man, 4-1. Second, number 14, Lord Relic, 11-1. Third was number 10 for Ireland, Commercial Artist, 14-1. And fourth, last year's winner, number 2, Cogent, 33-1. The unplaced favourite was number 4, Dubachilla, at 3-1. The non-runner was number 1, Black Humour, 16 ran. And confirmation of our fighting fifth hurdle result. The winner, number 2, Batabanu, 6-4 favourite. Again, he was the youngest horse in the field, only a 5-year-old. Second, number 4, Surrey Dancer, 5-1. And third, number 1, Morcelli, 30-8, 4 ran. And at Warwick, the 205, a win for trainer Bob Woodhouse and jockey Dean Gallagher with number 7, Master Boston, 8-1. Second, number 6, High Grade at 12-1. And third, number 1, Crystal Bear, 4-1. The favourite was number 3, Vasiliev at 2-1, 7 ran.
Master Boston runs at around there at Warwick. Mr. Boston runs in the next, ridden by Peter Niven, who, of course, rode Batabanu. I've just had a word with him as he went in. He said he was going terribly well, but as you could see, it was quite hard work at the end because this little horse wasn't doing an awful lot at the finish. But another fine win for Peter and for Mary Reevely. We've got another good race coming up here, and we've got the big race from Ireland, the Durcan's Punchestown Chase. That's all live on 4. Stay with us.
If you're about to buy a mobile phone, the best way to avoid slipping up is to go to the specialists, People's Phone, and check which tariff will be cheapest for you. For your nearest People's Phone showroom, call 0345 10 11 12.
My days are complicated.
With its new extra active formula, Duracell now lasts up to 10,000 beats longer. New Duracell Extra Active for extra life.
I don't care what the
Sure Sensieve with aloe vera. It's tough on perspiration, but also gentle on the skin.
They didn't taste like indigestion tablets.
A fruity, refreshing taste.
Tingly on the tongue.
They work marvellous.
It's tangy, it's fast, it's Rennie Rupees.
Here comes Müller on his way to work. He's such a stickler for routine you can set your watch by him. He works for the Beck's Brewery in Bremen, where brewmen like him have traditionally brewed the same beautiful beer for generations, preserving the purity of Beck's. Unfortunately, Müller is also a practical joker and left home 15 seconds earlier today. Beck's, only ever brewed by the brewmen of Bremen, Germany.
Philips has invented the ultimate compact disc player, CDI. It doesn't just play music, it also plays movies. And sounds you can see. It takes games into whole new worlds. Philips CDI, one player, countless opportunities. Philips invents for you.
The new Black & Decker Workmate 800 does everything your old Workmate did, but with one important addition. The Workmate 800 can clamp large sheets horizontally. The new vertical clamping Workmate 800 from Black & Decker.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we now come to the presentation of the trophies for this, our feature race of the afternoon, the Grade 2 Bellway Homes Fighting Fifth Hurdle Race. This 25th renewal has been most generously sponsored by the national house building group Bellway Homes, who are continuing their support for Newcastle's most prestigious hurdle race. Well, the Fighting Fifth Challenge Trophy has been very kindly given by the Royal Northumberland Fusiliers, and to make the presentation of this trophy we're joined in the winner's enclosure by Colonel Billy Mordew, the chairman of the Fusiliers Officers Club. And to receive the trophy, would you please congratulate the trainer not only of the winner Batabanu, but also of the second, Surrey Dancer, who's going to accept the award on behalf of Mr. Peter Sowell. Will your appreciation please for a fine win. Thank you. Bellway Homes have very kindly provided an engraved silver salver for presentation to the winning owner. This will be made by Mrs. Christine Bell, the wife of the Bellway Group Director, Mr. Ashley Bell, and will be again presented to Mary Reevely with our congratulations. Well done.
Time to vote now. Your chance to elect Channel 4 Racing's Personality of the Year. In a moment, we'll be showing you the 9 numbers to ring, their separate nominations for Channel 4 Racing's Personality of the Year. Following Lester Piggott in 1992 for those fantastic exploits with Rodrigo Triano and Mr. Brooks. And last year it was Mary Reevely who took the coveted trophy. Mary, who just won the big race here and whose Saltburn stable is a byword for consistency on the flat or over jumps. So stand by your phones as Leslie Graham takes us in alphabetical order through the nominations for 1994.
Tory started the 1994 flat season as he meant to go on, winning the first race at Lingfield on January the 2nd. 1,317 rides and 233 wins later, he was champion. His association with Locksong will be long remembered, especially their impressive victory in the Prix de l'Abbé. There was Barathir in the Breeders' Cup Mile, and his first English classic in the Oaks aboard Balanchine.
Balanchine it is by late to Howard G. Spinded a hair. He's finishing with every stride, but it's Balanchine for the Emirates in the lead. He's going to stand the Energizer Oaks and Balanchine. Balanchine is the winner.
Champion National Hunt jockey for the past 2 years, Richard Dunwoody had to work hard for last season's title, ending with 197 winners, just 4 clear of his friend and rival Adrian Maguire. A superb stylist and all-round horseman, watch Richard in the Emblem Chase at Kempton and the return of Remittance Man, which must have been one of Richard's most pleasurable wins.
Deep Sensation and Remittance Man on the outside. Remittance Man again just behind Deep Sensation at the final fence. There's not going to be much in it. Deep Sensation being called for a renewed effort, but Richard Dunwoody gets a fine run out of Remittance Man, and Remittance Man is going to take it. Remittance Man makes a winning comeback and scores for the 13th time over fences. A mighty impressive comeback.
Mark Johnston's 1994 season has established him as the North's top flat trainer and reinforced Midland as a major training centre. Mark trained 115 winners, including the prolific Star Rage, and topped the £1 million mark in UK prize money. But the highlight of his year was the great achievement of winning a classic when he produced Mr. Bailey's first time out to win the 2,000 guineas.
Down the centre of the track is Mr. Bailey's and Star Selection, and they come down past the furlong pole, and it's Mr. Bailey's going on from Grand Lodge the far side, and the far side have it Mr. Bailey's and Grand Lodge. Colonel Collins eats ground fast and late, but it's Mr. Bailey's and Grand Lodge dueling as they race up towards the line. Mr. Bailey's and Grand Lodge and Mr. Bailey's. Mr. Bailey's Grand Lodge from Colonel Collins and state performer in 4.
It's difficult to imagine Adrian Maguire not being a champion jockey of the future. He and Richard Dunwoody seesawed at the top of the championship table throughout last season. Adrian recorded some of the biggest wins of his career to date in nail-biting finishes, and it is his strength in a finish that marks him out from other jockeys, as he demonstrated when Barton Bank held off Bradbury Star in the King George VI Triple Print Chase.
There's Barton Bank and Bradbury Star doing battle as they race up towards the line. Barton Bank digging deep, holding off. Bradbury Star, one more challenge. Not enough. Barton Bank takes it. Barton Bank the winner.
Sheikh Mohammed topped the owners' table once again with a tremendous late run in which he seemed to win everything in the latter half of the season. His determination to experiment with the wintering of horses in Dubai and their return to run in Europe under the Godolphin Racing banner reaped great rewards and gave him obvious personal satisfaction with the triumphs of Balanchine. Although the Derby still eludes him, 1994 also saw the Arc de Triomphe finally come his way with the André Fabre-trained Carnegie.
Here comes Hernando bursting through the pack in dark blue. And Carnegie's in the front rank too. Come down towards the winning line. And Hernando flashing through the inside of Carnegie. Carnegie and Hernando as they race up towards the line. Carnegie, Hernando the 1-2.
Declan Murphy started the 1993 jump season showing exactly what he was capable of as a jockey and winning a host of big races. Those were all great achievements for the talented Irishman, but his luck changed at Haydock in April when a fall from Arcot left Declan fighting for his life. Nursed by fiancé Joe Park, to everyone's immense relief and delight, just 7 months on, Declan has recorded possibly his greatest achievement by winning his fight for fitness and applying this week for his jockey's licence to be renewed. Last season's champion national hunt trainer was David Nicholson, whose 81 winners brought in prize money of over £500,000 and were enough to hold off the ever-present challenge of reigning champion Martin Pipe. His yard abounds with household names from the chasing and hurdling elite, but last season one of his star turns had to be Mysilve, whose 6 wins gave so much pleasure to her million-in-mind owners, who were never so decisively beaten as in the Adonis Hurdle at Kempton, which was followed by victory in the Daily Express Triumph Hurdle at Cheltenham. Michael Stoute has been at the top of his profession for so long now, but it is always nice to prove you're number one, and in 1994 Michael did just that, winning the Flat Trainers Championship and earning almost £2 million from his 109 winners. It was the enigmatic 5-year-old Azoud who had proved Michael's greatest challenge and his best cause for celebration in the Coral Eclipse Stakes at Sandown.
And it's Azoud in the lead by a neck to Earhart, the Derby winner. Bob's return is nothing if not brave, and he's rallying as Earhart gives up, and Azoud goes on. It's Azoud's Eclipse up towards the line. Azoud's going to take it. Azoud is the winner. Bob's return second, Earhart third.
In his first full season as a jockey, Jason Weaver achieved notable successes which made him the envy of his weighing room colleagues. Like Frankie Dettori, he too rode 200 winners and won his first British Classic aboard Mr. Bailey's. With his retainer to Mark Johnston's yard, he travelled the length and breadth of the country in search of his winning rides. Appropriately, he saved one of his strongest finishes for us here at Newcastle in the Northumberland Plate aboard old favourite Quick Ransom.
After the strongest of pressures from Jimmy Quinn, Sarawat hastened to add, being asked for his effort by George Duffy, and getting a good response between the two. Coming again, Tierman, then Quick Ransom. Dover Patrol is finishing well, so too for Ireland. Clifford Gale, but it's hastened to add, and Quick Ransom now going past Sarawat. Close home, it's going to be a photo finish.
There's the Channel 4 trophy, so who are you going to vote for? Whose mantelpiece are you going to send that to? Let's recap on those phone numbers. Write down the prefix, which is 0891 8181, and to that number, if you want to vote for Frankie Dettori, it's 91, Richard Dunwoody 92, Mark Johnston 93, Adrian Maguire 94, Sheikh Mohammed 95, Declan Murphy 96, David Nicholson 97, Michael Stoute 98, and last but by no means least, Jason Weaver 99. And as I said, you want to prefix all of those with 0891 8181. Please telephone us and vote for the Channel 4 Racing Personality of 1994.
And don't panic, there's a whole week to vote, and the lines will stay open until close of play, so to speak, next Saturday. We'll show you the numbers again then, but get the nominations come through. Highlights of the big flat season there, but of course what you might call the smaller flat season continues right through the winter. Been very busy at Lingfield with 8 races. News from there now.
Yes, it's the 225. Silent Expression follows up as she lands a 12 3/4 to 1 double for Ray Cochrane after Charbonaz in the 12.50. First, number 4, Silent Expression, 9-2. Second, number 6, Forgotten Dancer, 20-1. Third, number 5, La Petite Fusée, 7-2. The favourite was number 1, Rocketeer at 3-1. The non-runner, number 10, Saxon King, 9 ran.
Now let's fit in a bonus for you, for all of us. We had a really good novice chase over in Ireland at Punchestown. The Rath Salah House novices chase over 2 miles, and good horses there. There were 7 runners. The favourite was Caron Davis from Arthur Moore's stable, 6-4. Idiot's Venture, Charlie Swan, who just set a new record this year, 7-4. Yukon Gold, 4-1. Conor Dwyer, then Winter Bell, 13-2. Tale of Endurance, 25s, and Topical Tip and Cuban Question, outsiders on the show. Let's see how it worked out.
And it's Clairon Davis, Idiot's Venture, travelling well in second, and Yukon Gold another 2 lengths back third. They're clear from Winter Bell as they jump that one, and Yukon Gold's a faller. Yukon Gold's on the floor there as they come towards the second last now, and Clairon Davis and Idiot's Venture. As Conrad Dwyer catches hold of Yukon Gold. Clare Davis leads Idiot's Venture over the second last. They're clear of Winter Bell, who got it wrong. Tale of Endurance in fourth, down the straight towards the final fence now. Idiot's Venture on the left, on the near side, Clare Davis. And they're clear from Winter Bell in third. Racing to the last, Clare Davis on the near side. On the far side, the blue colours, Charlie Swan and Idiot's Venture. They're locked together at the last. Clare Davis on the near side of Idiot's Venture. Clare Davis brushes through the top, but Idiot's Venture seizes the initiative. Clare Davis on the near side, and it's Idiot's Venture the leader as they race up towards the line. Idiot's Venture beginning to draw away, and up to the line it's Idiot's Venture going to win it. 2 wins from 2 starts over fences. Clare Davis second, beaten about 2 lengths, and they're clear of Winter Bell in third, and behind Winter Bell came Tale of Endurance in fourth place, and he in fact is the only other finisher Cuban question was pulled up. So number
Idiot's Venture wins the Novice Chase and completes a 79-1 hat-trick for record-breaking trainer Aidan O'Brien and an 8-1 double for record-breaking champion jockey Charlie Swan. First number 1, Idiot's Venture, 7-4. Second number 2, Clare Davis, the 6-4 favourite, and third number 5, Winter Bell, 13-2, 7 ran.
Charlie Swan, of course, on second schedule in the big race, the Durkan's Punchestown Chase over there, which will be taking up live in about 10 minutes' time. That's all ahead of us. And now the 240 here, the another Ladbroke sponsorship, the Ladbroke Handicap Chase. 3 miles, some splendid old 3-mile chasers here. 8 runners. Headed, we had Master Boston winning at Warwick by Mr. Boston and Peter Niven. Full list from Graham.
And that's the Mary Reevely runner. They've won over £300,000 between them in win and place prize money, these seasoned handicap chasers, with Mr. Boston at 9-2, Armourgred at 14-1, Liam O'Hara, Gay Ruffian 25-1 for Lorcan Wire looking for a double. Silver Sticks, the 3-1 co-favourite, ridden by Ross Garrity. Number 5 is Durham Sunset. Richard Guest, a pound overweight on the other 3-1 co-favourite, along with Tartan Trade Winds, sharing the market at 3-1. Michael Maloney rides that one. Carousel Rockets a 33-1 chart. David Bentley claims 3, and Zambi also 33-1. Brian Storey's mount. Runners to post then for our 240, the Ladbroke Handicap.
Right, well, in the afternoon we had 3 9-2 joint favourites, and they all got turned over. And here we've got 3 3-1 shots holding the top end of the market together. Durham Sunset, Silver Stick and Tartan Trade Winds. They all opened at 5-2, all drifted to 11-4 and now out to 3s in the face of some strong support from Mr. Boston. 6-1 was taken, 5-1 has gone, 9-2 top off with a couple of bets of 5,000 to 800. And punters are latching onto the fact that last time out, of course, Mr. Boston was second, beaten pointless, but only beaten 5 lengths nonetheless by 1 man, and they're latching onto that. So the 3 joint favourites are uneasy from 5-2 to 3s, and there's good money for the Reevely, Mr. Boston, 6-1 into 9-2.
News just through from Punchestown that there are two non-runners from the Punchestown Chase. Charlie Swan's our second schedule doesn't now run, and neither does Deep Heritage. So neither second schedule nor Deep Heritage run. Still these 5, and of course Monsieur Le Cure from John Edwards' stable from England runs, and Mary Gale, the last year's star, takes part, as well as Belvederian. 5 runners at Punchestown.
Well, back here we've got all 8 down at post, including 2 greys, Zambi and still Silver Stick. But let's first take a look at Tartan Trade Winds, who's had 2 runs so far this season and absolutely bolted up on both occasions. He's running from £3 out of the handicap. He's got 10 stone, and Michael Maloney on board. Really, touch wood, a very sound jumper, good galloper. The only drawback, I'd say, maybe to his chances here is the fact that the ground probably could be a little bit livelier than he'd like.
Well, Durham Sunset was actually paid to Tartan Trade Winds back in April up at Ayr. Martomic won the race, and Durham Sunset, as I said, saw off Tartan Trade Winds, so whether he'll do the same today, we shall see. He's had 1 run so far and managed a second. That was a decent run. It was over 3 3/4 miles, so it was a fair old hike. That was behind Unholy Alliance. Didn't quite seem to get home, so the drop back to 3 miles today should suit. He made the running that day, and he certainly jumped well, so they'll be looking for a good show from him. And there's number 4, Silver Stick, Mick Easterby's runner. Fell first time out this year at Wetherby when he was travelling pretty well, but then romped home up at Utoxeter, beating Matt Reed 12 lengths. He's gone up £7 for that win, but it was very impressive, and if he's progressing, I certainly shouldn't find the £7 too much of a handicap. It's being a bit of a handicap at the moment, though. But there we have the betting. We've got a clear favourite in Tartan Trade Wins. The punters obviously think that Durham Sunset's not going to repeat it. Over to GG.
And Silver Stick, a little bit of warming to his work yet, as Durham Sunset leads. Durham Sunset, Zambi and Tartan Trade Winds can all force the pace, but it's Durham Sunset going on. From Armagrettin showing a second, Carousel Rocket wide in third, Tartan Trade Winds and Zambi, followed through by Mr. Boston, the black and white colours at the back, Gay Ruffian on the outside at the back in the green and white as they take the first, a little bit slow, Gay Ruffian now last, but towards the rear is Silver Stick, come down towards the second. This is an open ditch, in the blue and red, it's Durham Sunset who leads. From Armagrettin second, then showing third, on the outside Carousel Rocket, Tartan Trade Winds the inner, a length behind these comes Zambi and Mr. Boston and Silver Stick, and they're at the third. And there's no change in the order. Silver Stick and Gay Ruffian are the two that are out the back, and I must say Russ Garrett, he certainly earned his work when he won on Silver Stick at Uttoxeter. He was driven along from the halfway stage at least. Durham Sunset leads as they take the fourth, and Armagrettin in second, and on the outside Carousel Rocket showing third. And then we have Tartan Trade Winds and Mr. Boston on the outside of Zambi, Silver Stick and Gay Ruffian the back two as they come down towards the fifth. And there's no change up front. Zambi is not as quick as the others. And they've gone for the first half mile, and it's Durham Sunset leading. Durham Sunset by a length to Carousel Rocket in second, and then Armagret showing third on the inside of Tartan Trade Winds, facing his stiffest test. Then we have Mr. Boston with through on the inner Zambi, and then Silver Stick and Gay Ruffian. This is an open ditch, and they stream over it. It's Durham Sunset leading from Carousel Rocket, and the black and yellow Armagret showing in third. This is fence number 7, come to it. And Durham Sunset in the lead. Durham Sunset from Tartan Trade Winds the outside of Carousel Rocket, and then Armagret, and then Mr. Boston and Zambi, and Silver Stick, and the back marker is Gay Ruffian. This is fence number 8, and it's going to be the last next time round, and as they take it, all jumping like seasoned chasers should, and the order as they pass us is that Durham Sunset leads from Carousel Rocket, and then Tartan Trade Winds on the outside. Armagret is in 4th place, a length back to Mr. Boston racing 5, and then Silver Stick the outside of Zambi, and trailing them is Gay Ruffian. Come down towards the 9th, and they leap the water, and they're all safely over. It's a left-handed turn now, race away towards the 10th, and news on the starting prices from Alistair.
Well, we couldn't separate these three at the off. 3-1 joint favourites, Durham Sunset, Silver Stick and Tartan Trade Winds, despite the fact Ladbrokes tried to shorten Tartan Trade Winds. It's the second time in the afternoon we've got 3 joint favourites. The last lot all got beat.
Comforting, isn't it? Come down towards the 10th, and it's Durham Sunset on the inside in the blue and red colours, and then we have Tartan Trade Winds on the outer with the orange cap. This is the 10th. And Armagret behind these, and then Carousel Rocket. The black and white on the left is Mr. Boston, and Russ Garrett just starting to go to work on Silver Stick on the outside. This is the 11th of the 19 they jump. And Zambi and Gay Ruffian getting a little bit remote now in this class. But it's Durham Sunset who leads. Durham Sunset from Tartan Trade Winds in second, and Mr. Boston the outside of Armagret, Carousel Rocket, and the grey Silver Stick just in front of the other grey Zambi, and the green and yellow colours out the back, Gay Ruffian. Number of trainers level up down the back stretch. Then they have 5 fences to jump on this stretch of the track, and 8 in all in this Ladbroke Handicap chase, and Durham Sunset yet to be headed. Bowling along in front, look to the right, the black and yellow, that's Armagret. Look to the left with the orange cap is Tartan Trade Winds. Gordon Richards' horse is in tremendous form as they take the ditch. Tartan Trade Winds going as well as any. Mr. Boston and Silver Stick the outside. They're clear of Zambi. Carousel Rocket finding they're going a bit tough, and they leap the next to plain fence. And the front players, Durham Sunset, Armagret, Mr. Boston, Tartan Trade Winds, and the grey on the outside, Silver Stick. They continue their journey down the back stretch, and they passed the 2.5 mile start. This is the 5th from home, and it's still Durham Sunset leading. Durham Sunset in the lead by a couple of lengths and going well. Tartan Trade wins in second. Armagret is third. Mr. Boston still being pushed along his Silver Stick. Zambi just starting to pick them up again. They've got 4 to jump, and it's still Durham Sunset on the front end, being given a positive ride by Richard Guest. Carousel Rocket's out the back. That's the one that's struggling to go. Just over half a mile to go, and you wouldn't like to name the winner, at least I wouldn't. It's Durham Sunset with the edge to Tartan Trade wins, and then Mr. Boston, Armagret, and then Gay Ruffian starting to pick up, and Silver Stick and Zambi. Start the turn in. Durham Sunset, the inside of Tartan Trade wins. A length back to Mr. Boston and the one-man form. Is it going to be upheld? They've got 2 to jump. And it's Tartan Trade wins in the orange cap wide of Durham Sunset. Then Mr. Boston and then Silver Stick, followed through by Armagret. This is a second last. Mr. Boston and Tartan Trade wins, and it's Mr. Boston who takes the lead now. So Mr. Boston going into the lead from Tartan Trade wins. Back in third is Durham Sunset and then Silver Stick. They've got one more fence to jump. And on the inside, Tartan Trade wins comes to press the lead again with Mr. Boston. This is the last. How do they leap? They both jump it well. Silver Stick untidy in third. And now Battle Royal. Tartan Trade wins, runs the rail with Mr. Boston in second place, being anchored by the weight. Silver Stick's back in third, but up toward the line. This goes to Tartan Trade wins. Tartan Trade wins it is from Mr. Boston in second, with the third place going to Silver Stick. These well clear of Gay Ruffian and Durham Sunset and Armagret. Then came Zambi, who'll be winning in his class. And the last to finish, Carousel Rocket. So, Cumbrian trainer Gordon Richards having a cracking afternoon. 3 out of 3 for this 3-to-1 co-favourite Tartan Trade wins. Number 6 on the card, and that's ridden by Michael Maloney. And despite the fact that the surcingle has broken, John Frankham's kindly pointed that out to me, he's managed to hold on. That's our winner then, number 6, Tartan Trade wins. Second horse home, Mr. Boston, upholding the form of one man. Third horse home is number 4, Silver Stick, wasn't good enough on this ground. And the 4th horse home, number 3, Gay Ruffian.
Well, revenge is sweet. Tartan Trade wins certainly got the better of Durham Sunset this time, and from £3 out of the handicaps. That was a good performance. He was in fact in a Hexham race earlier this week and was pulled out and sent here, so Gordon Richards must have been quietly confident, and this makes his 3-timer. Jumps that one really well. Sursingle's already gone by that stage. You can just see it flapping around a bit, and has to work a bit on the running, John, to get him home.
He does. He's going to appreciate much more giving the ground, this horse. He was just getting in a little bit close to 1 or 2 of his fences through there, unless he was meeting them absolutely spot on. He didn't look happy, and I'm sure a bit easier surface will suit him. But it was a fine run from the second horse, giving lumps of weight. This is an improving horse of Gordon Richards. One to look out for, even though he's rising through the handicap. Here's his SP.
So trainer Gordon Richards completes a 19-to-1 double following one man in the Hennessy. First, number 6, Tartan Trade wins, the 3-to-1 co-favourite of 3. Second, number 1, Mr. Boston, 9-to-2. Third, number 4, one of the other co-favourites, Silver Stick, 3-to-1. And the other co-favourite was number 5, Durham Sunset, 8 ran. And the total returns on this 240 here at Gosforth Park. Win number 6, £3 10. Places £1.70, £1.50 and £1.40. The dual forecast £8.20, 8 ran.
And now live to Punchestown in Ireland for the Durcan Punchestown Chase over 2 miles 5 furlongs, 22,000 to the winner. Mary Gale heads the list from Jim Draper's stable. Monsieur Le Curé, Paul Carberry. Second schedule was a non-runner, then Belvederian with Conor O'Dwyer. Buckboard Bounce with John Short, and finally Newaf with Sean O'Donovan. 2 miles 5 furlongs. Let's down at the start. Let's join our colleagues from RTE.
And second, finishing third in the Hennessy Gold Cup. So he's the 16-to-1 outsider of the field. It gives you an idea of the quality of today's race.
Yes, it is a really high quality race, and you'd say obviously probably one of the best Durkans we've had in many, many years.
Yes, it used to be known as the Durcan Brothers International Chase.
That's right.
In those days, there was never, I think, an English challenger. Now they've dropped the international, and lo and behold, we have an outside raider.
And of course, some great horses have won this race way back, and you're the great man for those.
Well, it's been over the years that most of the top two-mile chases, horses like Bob's Line and horses of his type have won this race. It has been, as you say, an early season race for the 2.5-mile horses who really are not that well catered for as the year goes on. And so to Carvel's Hill, of course, he won this race, and he's the big name.
And Dawn Run, of course. But look like they're ready to go, so Tony O'Hare, we'll hand over to you.
Buckboard Bounce showing a little reluctance, but being led in, and they're away. Off and running in the Durkin Chase. 15 fences ahead of them, and the Nuaf is up there as expected. The leader going to the first with Mary Gale on his inside, and they're followed by Monsieur Le Curé in the orange colours, then Buckboard Bounce on the outside. Mary Gale lands fractionally in front there of Nuaf. Monsieur Le Curé pecked a little in third, Belvedere in 4, and Buckboard Bounce the back marker of the 5 as they come towards fence number 2, and Mary Gale has gone on now by over 2 lengths from Nuaf in second, and wasn't too clever at that one. Monsieur Le Curé's on the outside of Belvederian, and Buckboard Bounce already been niggled along at the back of the field by John Short as they come to the third on the bend into the straight. Mary Gale, ears pricked, in the lead, jumps it well. Nuaf in second, Belvederian and Buckboard Bounce. Monsieur Le Curé last of the 5 as they run down the straight towards the 4th in this 2-mile 5 furlong event, with Mary Gale the leader from Nuaf in second. They're being followed in 3rd place by Buckboard Bounce, with the Belvederian next. Mary Gale coming to fence number 4. The leader, Nuaf, the Troy Time Chase winner, in second. They're followed by, and Nuaf brushed through the top, but Belvederian made a worse mistake at the back there and did well to survive it as they come up past the stands. It's Mary Gale the leader, Nuaf in second, Monsieur Le Curé 3, Buckboard Bounce towards the stand side in the red colours, and Belvederian is the back marker of the 5 as they go uphill now towards the 5th. Mary Gale in the lead for Kevin O'Brien, followed in 2nd place by Buckboard Bounce with Nuaf alongside, and they're followed about 3 lengths back by Belvedere and Michel Le Curé on his inside. Going now to the 5th. Mary Gale in the lead, jumps it well from Nuaf, and Belvederian again took a chance with that one, survived it as they go into the turn that takes them away towards fence number 6, and Mary Gale the leader from Nuaf in second, Belvederian close up in third despite 2 pretty bad errors. They're followed in 4th place by Buckboard Bounce, alongside him Michel Le Curé. At the fence at the top of the hill, Mary Gale, Nuaf in second, Belvederian 3, then Michel Le Curé, and they're 4 lengths in front of Buckboard Bounce, who's been driven along at the back by John Short. They're about to disappear from view briefly on the run towards the first ditch, which will be fence number 7, and Mary Gale the leader, Nuaf is second. They're followed in 3rd place by Belvederian. Michel Le Curé is next, and in rear Buckboard Bounce. The first of the ditches, Mary Gale the leader, Kevin O'Brien over from Nuaf in second. Belvederian is 3 to 4 lengths back, tracked by Michel Le Curé, and they're 8 lengths clear of Buckboard Bounce, who's last of the 5 runners as they come to the next plain fence, number 8. And Mary Gale the leader from Nuaf a close second. Michel Le Curé jumps it better than Belvederian, and Buckboard Bounce getting tailed off. Down the far side, they've 7 fences left to jump. Mary Gale leads by a length to Nuaf in second. They're over 3 lengths clear of Michel Le Curé and Belvederian, and over 20 lengths adrift is Buckboard Bounce. 3 fences ahead of them down the back straight. Mary Gale the leader, Nuaf a close second, Belvederian right of the picture in the hoop colours, the orange jacket, Paul Carberry on Michel Le Curé. They're a long way clear of Buckboard Bounce as they come now to the next plain fence, 6 from home, and Mary Gale has a 4-length lead. In 2nd place is Nuaf, Belvederian is 3rd, then Michel Le Curé. Mary Gale in the lead, Nuaf in 2nd, Belvederian makes another blunder there, and Michel Le Curé comes away from it in 3rd place as they go now to the final ditch. 5 fences from home, and Mary Gale the leader by 4 from Nuaf. Michel Le Curé a length back in 3rd, and Belvederian is beginning to lose contact. Mary Gale another fine jump there. Nuaf's in 2nd, and 3rd is Michel Le Curé, and they've gone away from Belvederian and completely tailed off Buckboard Bounce as they turn off the back with 4 fences left to jump in the Durkin Chase. Mary Gale by 3 from Nuaf, a length and a half away. In 3rd place is Michel Le Curé, and they're almost 15 clear of Belvederian now as they come to the 4th last, and Mary Gale, who's made virtually all, in the lead, being chased by Nuaf in 2nd, Sean O'Donovan, and Michel Le Curé's in 3rd as they come down now to the 4th last fence. Mary Gale the leader, 2.5 lengths in front of Nuaf, who's over 4 in front of Michel Le Cure, who's not making any impression. Mary Gale the leader, Nuaf in second, Michel Le Cure third. Belvederian's been pulled up. Buckboard bounces a long way behind, but Mary Gale is stretched on now, 5 in front, Nuaf in second, and Michel Le Cure struggling a tired third. 3 from home now, Mary Gale the leader. Mary Gale in the lead, jumps it well, 6 clear, Nuaf in second, and they're a long way clear of Michel Le Cure in third as they come now to the second last, and Mary Gale 6 in front. Mary Gale 6 clear, Nuaf in second, and they're a long way clear of Michel Le Cure. Mary Gale jumps it well, and the Nuaf clicks through the top of it in second. Michel Le Cure a remote third as they come down the straight. 1 fence left to jump at the Durkin Chase, and Mary Gale out in front, 6 to 8 lengths up on Nuaf in second. Michel Le Cure a long way behind. Buckboard Bounce hasn't reached the second last yet, but it's Mary Gale to the final fence now, chased all the time by Nuaf, who's not making much impression, but Mary Gale the leader at the final fence in the Durkin Chase. Mary Gale jumps it well, Nuaf's over in second and racing up to the line. Mary Gale the leader, Nuaf plugging away gamely in second, but can't make any impression. Mary Gale coming up to the line, the winner of the Durkin Chase. Mary Gale wins it by 12 lengths or so, gets a tap from Kevin O'Brien, the easy winner of the Durkin Chase. Nuaf is second, Michel Le Cure tailed off in third, and Buckboard Bounce has just clambered over the last now and will finish 4th and last. Mary Gale the winner of the Durkin Chase, the 9-4 co-favourite, and that was an impressive performance, Tony.
Yes, the Jim Draper team do look as if they've got another star in their hands, and Michel Le Cure, his first run of the season, and it wasn't a very happy one. John Frankham.
And I'll be surprised if this horse doesn't improve again from this strengthening up. He was running from memory in the closing stages. Just watch his near 4 there, just had it tucked up. Wasn't as snappy as you'd like to see a horse jumping. He'd been fairly good all the way round. I just always felt that he was slightly novice-y. Kevin O'Brien always having to organise him with his fences, but he is a big horse. He's long striding, and the one thing he's definitely got is an engine, and really just gallop these horses into the ground. And Nuaf there had every chance until missing the second last out. But just have a look at this last fence. He gets over it okay, and Kevin O'Brien commits him, makes him come up, and jumps that nicely enough. And from then on, it was all over. Just, I thought, a half stumble at one point on the run. You just have a look, see, just coming up any second now. Maybe just caught sight of something else. Been an awful long way round there. Maybe it's just my imagination. Actually, I think it was just a loose bit of ground there. But this was a very good performance. Don't think for a moment that that was an easy race, because it wasn't. Some very useful horses behind. Nuaf, look, hasn't even come through the picture yet. He was second in the Irish National.
Monsieur Le Cure's run of 5 successes comes to an end, and it's Mary Gale who scores his first win this term for Jim Draper. First, number 1, Mary Gale, 9-4 co-favourite. Second, number 7, Nuaf, 7-1. And third, number 2, Monsieur Le Cure, 9-4 co-favourite. The other co-favourite was number 4, Belvederian. The non-runners were numbers 3, Second Schedule, and 6, Deep Heritage. 5 ran. And at Newbury, Colton defies his penalty very easily and lands a double for Oliver Sherwood and Jamie Osborne. First, number 1, Colton, 9-4 joint favourite. Second, number 3, Current Express, 9-2. Third, number 6, Around the Horn, 11-4. The other joint favourite was number 4, Belston Fox, 6 ran. And the Warwick 235, Jenny Pittman and her new jockey Warren Marston take this one. First, number 6, Wilsford, 11-1. Second, number 4, Indian Tonic, 5-2. And third, number 5, Glenbrook Door at 16-1. The favourite was number 2, Midnight Caller, at 9-4. One non-runner there, number 1, leaving 8 runners.
At the start of today's proceedings, we promised you a busy time, and the last couple of hours have certainly galloped by.
And as they come to it, it's Zamahir that's come through to take up the running at the last. He makes a terrible mistake there. Zamahir, 9 pipes, rallies the rail. Back in third place is Uncle Doug. Then once more for luck of Mike Polite. It's going to be a battle as they race inside the final furlong. The white colours, Zamahir, Neil Dart is getting the best out of him now. And it's Zamahir who's going on up towards the line. Zamahir is going to take it. Zamahir it is from 9 pipes in second. Here comes Jewel Image in the yellow. Come down towards the final flight, and it's Cumbrian Challenge in the lead from Jewel Image and Little Bromley the far side, keeping up for each way support. They're 5 clear of Ben Sable, a notable exception, but the top weight Cumbrian Challenge goes on by a couple of lengths. Jewel Image is placed again with Little Bromley in third as they race up towards the line. Cumbrian Challenge under Northern Wire is going to take it, and at the post, Cumbrian Challenge it is. Cumbrian Challenge a photo for second place. One more fence to jump, one more fence between him and his fourth win, but it's Strong Deal, who's really gathering pace. Reluctant Suitor is through to second. They're at the last now. Got a big leap to Tim Reed on Strong Deal. Cleared by 5, Reluctant Suitor. Spanish Fair back in turn, plugging on. Back over 2 miles, follow him, but not at this stumbling test, 2.5 miles. That's going to suit Strong Deal, who comes home to take it. And at the post, Strong Deal is the winner. Strong Deal takes it. Reluctant Suitor is second. Come down towards the final flight, and Badabadoo comes to it. Oh, he flattens it, but he gets away with it by 3 lengths to Morcelli, and then comes Surrey Dancer and a force of Old Royal Derby on this evidence. It's Badabadoo striding well clear. 8th winner over hurdles inside for Badabadoo, and Surrey Dancer's coming through to take Morcelli and make it a 1-2 for Mary Reevely, but up towards the line. In this, the Bellway Homes fighting 5th. Badabadoo the winner, Surrey Dancer is second. Mr. Boston going into the lead from Tartan Trade Winds. Back in third is Durham Sunset and then Silver Stick. They've got one more fence to jump, and on the inside Tartan Trade Winds comes to press the lead again with Mr. Boston. This is the last. How do they leap? They both jump it well. Silver Stick untidy in third, and now Battle Royal. Tartan Trade Winds runs the rail with Mr. Boston in second place, being anchored by the weight. Silver Stick's back in third, but up towards the line. This goes to Tartan Trade Winds. Tartan Trade Winds it is from Mr. Boston in second.
Today's winners here at Gosforth Park. The 1240 went to number 7, Zamharia, at 5-1. The 110, number 1, Cumbrian Challenge, 11-2. The 140, number 2, Strong Deal, 13-8. The 210, number 2, Badabadoo, 6-4 favourite. And the 240, number 6, Tartan Trade Winds, 3-1 co-favourite.
The champion tipster competition now. Maximum points 93. The telephone claims for 70 points or more. If you've got 70 points or more in your calculations, ring 071 757 7010. I'll say that again. 071 757 7010. The lines are live until midday tomorrow.
And the results from Newbury, the 1255, first number 3, Large Action, 5-2 on favourite. Second number 2, Jazila, 3-1. Third number 1, Glenstall Flagship, 11-1. The 125, first number 3, Hebridean at 7-2. Second number 6, Spring Marathon, 33-1. And third number 5, Meditator, 20-1. The 2 o'clock, the Hennessy Gold Cup, first number 16, One Man, 4-1. Second number 14, Lord Relic, 11-1. Third number 10, Commercial Artist, 14-1. Fourth was number 2, Cogent, at 33-1. And finally the 2:30 at Newbury, first number 1, Colton, 9-4 joint favourite. Second number 3, Current Express, 9-2. And third number 6, Around the Horn, 11-4.
And the news through from Newbury, Large Action is now 10-1 for the Cheltenham Champion Hurdle after his win there. Harkabus ran absolutely stinking, beaten 60 length behind Hebridean, who now goes for the Stayers Hurdle at Cheltenham. And One Man, well, he'll never be off 10 stone again in his whole life, will he? One Man is 16-1 with 12 stone in the Gold Cup. The Gold Cup at March, and of course live on Channel 4. News from around the country. At Warwick, Robin Dickin had a double there with Cadastrophe and Dr. Rocket, and Cadastrophe runs at Sandown in our featured race next Saturday, the William Hill Handicap Hurdle. Other news from Lingfield is Emma O'Gorman rode her 90th winner of her career, just 6 more and she loses the £3 allowance. And Charlie Moore, who's been in hospital, had the best sort of pick-up with Robo Magic's victory there on the sand. The picture puzzle, Leslie solved it.
Yes, did you? There we go, Commercial Artist. Third in the Hennessy. Wasn't too difficult, was it? So who were the first 3 out of the hat? They were Bill Hunter from Littledale in Pickering in North Yorkshire, and in addition to his £100, he gets the free membership to the Top of the North Racing Club, and of course free visits to those northern tracks. And the other 2 lucky winners of the £100 are Joe McGuinness from Olcott Avenue in Birkenhead, and Brian Dodman from Digby Drive in Fakenham. So well done to them.
Right, well, interestingly enough, he had one man, which went 16s after the Hennessy with Hills. That's gone. Presumably the press have backed it at Newbury. It's 12-1 top offer. And Hills have reacted very strongly to Merry Gale's win in Ireland. 6-1 joint favourite from 10s now, Merry Gale with them. But you can get 10-1 with Ladbrokes. They go 6-1 Jadami, Merry Gale and the fellow Hills. 12-1 one man in from 16s already. But Ladbrokes 7-1 clear favourite Jadami. 10s Merry Gale, the fellow, and Young Hustler. 12 young man.
Isn't it amazing, though? This only happens in National Hunt Racing. Everything leads to Cheltenham. Already we're talking, here we are in November, right through to March, we're talking about champion hurdles and Gold Cup.
Well, you mentioned earlier Hebrideans win down there, 8-length win. That's already talking about Stayers Hurdle. Coulton, they'll be trying to find a handicap for. The whole strands of the season go into those 3 days, and we'll be there.
We'll be there. It's SP now from the sand.
Yes, it's the 255 Brough. The joint favourites, first and second. First, number 9, present situation, 4-1 joint favourite. Second, number 2, Mr. Nevermind, 4-1 joint favourite. And third, number 12, Shanzy, at 20-1, 12 round.
Next Saturday we'll be at Sandown. All sorts of attractions on show there. We start with the, well, I can't say that, Thames Valley Egg Dam and Jubilee Novices Handicap Hurdle. That should win a prize. Then the Novices Chase, the Henry VIII Novices Chase. The big one is the William Hill Handicap Hurdle. That's over 2 miles, includes Catastrophe. And finally, the old Tingle Creek will be creaking along. Mitsubishi Shogun Tingle Creek Trophy Chase, 2 miles. That's grade 1, and they'll be blazing down there. But we leave you with the most impressive performance we saw this afternoon in Ireland. How soon before they call him a new Arkle? Merry Gale winning at Punchestown. See you next week. Let's see how he wins, Merry Gale.
Second last yet, but it's Merry Gale to the final fence now, chased all the time by Nuap, who's not making much impression, but Merry Gale the leader at the final fence in the Durkin chase. Merry Gale jumps it well, Nuap's over in second and racing up to the line. Merry Gale the leader, Nuap plugging away gamely in second, but can't make any impression. Merry Gale coming up to the line, the winner of the Durkin chase. Merry Gale wins it by 12 lengths or so.
The Channel 4 Racing Diary for 1995 is out now. Price £4.99.
What goes on in the mind?